Greetings, everybody. Greetings. I think I'm live. I was waiting I thought I was going to get a bit of music, but I do believe I'm live. Today is Tuesday, the 6th of September, and welcome to Real Talk with Simply Deez. You know I can chat, but that's what we've got our guests for, and we have got a load of guests packed in tonight's show. So when I say buckle up, seatbelts on, it's not just conversation. You'll understand what I mean as we go along. We will give appropriate warnings because we do and we'll be touching on some delicate topics a little bit later on. But before we do anything, hi, welcome everybody, welcome. Dad, I've been told by the producer not to sing. Da, 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 da. I better not do too much because otherwise she will cut me off. Now, we say this and it is so important, and you will understand if you have not watched this show before. We say to you, like our pages. Okay, we're on all of social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the rest that goes with that. We're on everything. We have a newsletter. We ask you to sign up to that. Oh, what are you doing? When are you doing it? It's got it all in there, and you will not miss anything at all. As we go along, you'll get the flavour of everything. Please tag, please share with your friends, please get involved. And yeah, if you've got questions or comments, hi Tishi, please post them. Now, as I say, without further ado, because if I talk any longer, said person, my first guest, will go. I won't talk to us. And when I say share, you'll understand what I mean. So I need you all to give it up and show some love, serious love, to my very first guest, the 8th of October. Get it in your diaries. We're going to talk about it throughout the show tonight. But one of the exhibitors that will be at the Black Culture Market, Luton Black Culture Market, on the 8th of October is the awesome, and when I say awesome, you'll understand why. Kashai, are you there? Please welcome, show some love to this young man. First day at school, guys. First day at a new school, and still finding time to come on and say hello. Well, I hope he is. Kashai, are you there? He's kind of there, but not there. Am I right, Shell? He's kind of there, but not there. And for those of you that are wondering who this young man is, you would have met him previously before. He's been on the Black Book case. He's been on that several times. And this young man, greetings, Louise, Trish, Victoria, greetings, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just waiting because my first guest, he is actually there, and I don't want to move on before he actually comes on because he's kind of pretty awesome. He is as he will tell you, he is the CEO of his own business, and I do believe he may be coming on any moment now. Let's see. Kashai, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here.
Oh, I can't see you, darling. Why can't I see you?
Because my face is ugly at the moment. I don't want to show it.
Oh, I don't believe that. Now, you see, the thing is, I'll be honest with you, Kashai, I have got a few people watching. And what we're talking about, you know, the event that you're going to be selling your lemonade?
Yeah.
They're not going to know who to buy it from, because I think there's somebody else selling lemonade. So they need to know who and what you look like so that they go to your stall.
Okay.
So you're only going to be on for like not even 5 minutes, because then it's time for you to get off and go to bed. Is that okay?
I'm not going to bed. What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, let us see us, and then I need you to just tell us, have you got any lemonade there?
No, not at the moment, no.
Okay, don't worry. So let's see your face, because otherwise they're not going to know, and they think that I'm talking to myself. And there's no such thing as an ugly face.
Yes,
No,
there is.
there isn't.
Yes,
Come
there is.
on. Okay. Let me see you then. Where's Mum?
I'm right here.
Let me see if I can see you. Let me see. Hey! Hi,
Hi.
Kashai. How are you?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay, so for all my listeners and people that are watching my show out there, I've just been telling them that on the 8th of October, there's going to be an event at the Hat Factory, and it's a black culture market, and there's going to be lots of people selling different things. So can you just tell us your name and what you plan to be doing on that day?
I plan to be selling lemonade. My name is Kashai Allen.
Okay, but we can't see you, Kashai.
I know.
They don't know who is selling what.
I literally just put my face on for 1 minute. I'm sure they know.
No, because some of them are joining us now. You've only got 2 minutes left, and then you're going to be going. So I think 2 minutes can work.
There.
Okay, right. So tell the guys what are you going to be selling, and tell them a little bit about yourself, please.
I'm going to be selling lemonade, and I'm 8 years old. I mean,
So
9 years old.
you're 9 years old, and you're going to be selling lemonade. Whose lemonade are you going to be selling?
My lemonade.
Your lemonade. What do you
Yeah.
mean your lemonade? You trying to tell
My
me?
lemonade.
Do you make it?
Yes. So it's mine. If I make it, it's mine.
Oh wow! So you make your own lemonade?
Yes.
You got to remember, Kashai. I know this, but the people out there don't know any of this. Do you want to tell us what flavors you make?
I make let me try to see out my phone right here.
Strawberry, pineapple.
Pineapple, strawberry, grape, watermelon, and was it watermelon, pineapple, and what was it called again? Blueberry.
All of those flavors?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! Are you going to have all of these on?
Sale, yes.
Oh, see, you should be hosting the show. I don't know what you're talking about. Not seen. Oh wow! So tell the young the audience out there just a little bit about yourself. Apart from selling lemonade, you just started back at school today. Is that correct?
Yep.
And how was your first day? It's a new
It's
school as well,
amazing.
is
It's
it?
amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. So, what's your
I
teacher
leaded the
say?
class in behavior.
Sorry,
I leaded the class in behavior.
you led the class in behaviour.
Yes, I did that.
Absolutely fantastic. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So you're looking forward to so you're looking forward to going back tomorrow.
Yep.
What's your teacher's name?
Mrs. Mash.
Are you making that up?
Huh?
Are you making
No.
that up? Her name's
No.
Miss put me teeth in. Mrs.
Miss Mash.
Miss I don't
Miss Mash.
Miss
I'll
Shell
just
is
type in
winding me up.
private comments.
Sorry, you're going to put it in the comments for me because you got to remember Deez. See, I've got this headset on and it's not a very good headset, so I'm getting a little bit confused. So just 2 more minutes of your time, Kashai, and then I'm going to let you go. So you're 9 years of age. You're going to be selling your lemonade. Somebody said that they want some of that watermelon lemonade on the day. So it looks like some orders are going to start coming in for you. So is there anything else that you want to tell the guys about yourself? Do you just sell it? Are you the manager of your business? Are you the CEO?
I'm the CEO of my business. I started this business in 2019. I've been an owner of this business since I was like 6 years old.
No way. Really?
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Do you sell anything else?
And yeah, I sell cookies and sweets and cupcakes.
Are you going to be selling them on the day as well?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what to say. I'm overwhelmed. Where's that producer? She's going to have to keep popping on. Miss Producer, are you there? Can you believe any of this? I've met this young man before. I've met him
Yep,
before
he did.
at your granddad's shop, haven't I? I've met you
Yep.
there. And then you gate crashed my house, didn't you? With your brothers.
Yeah, I went to your house.
So how many brothers have you got, Kashai?
I got I got 3 brothers, and 2 live with me, and my other one lives with my father down in London.
Ah, and where are you the eldest or you are the youngest?
I'm the eldest out of them.
No way, you're the eldest.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, because I know it's obviously first day back at school and you're probably going to be a bit tired. No, I'm not.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you go. I would like to thank you on the behalf of all of Simply Deez and all of those people that are watching the show today. Is there anything that you want to tell them before we disappear today? Anything you want to tell them about yourself or what to do? Shell, were you going to say something?
Not really.
I can't hear you, Shell. You're on mute. Sorry.
Not really.
Oh, right. Sorry. I said sorry, Shelley, not Kashai.
What was the name of the shop to get the lemonade?
Cecil's Corner.
Cecil's Corner. That's it.
And where is Cecil's Corner?
LU1 Monastery in Luton.
See, this is absolutely fabulous. So if in doubt, you need to contact Kashai. His details have been going across the screen. We will share them again. He will be at the Luton Black Culture Market on the 8th of October. You'll be able to buy all those flavours of lemonade and cakes and anything else. The CEO, we don't often get the CEO. Actually, I don't think we rarely get the CEOs of anything on our show, do we, Shell? None of them have got time for us. None of them can be bothered. So we do appreciate and thank the wonderful Kashai from Shai's Lemonade for coming on. Kashai, I will see you soon, darling, all right?
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Oh, it's like having royalty in the house, isn't it, Shell? You're on mute.
Okay, bye.
Bye, darling. That is the way to start a show. That is the way to start a show. For those of you that are just joining us, you need to watch this back on replay. And when we say share, you ain't going to question why we say share. We say it for a reason, because there's always things, whether it's for you or somebody you know, whether it be your family member, work member, friend, there's always something in here for somebody that you know. So we thank Kashai very much, and you'll see more. We'll be posting more of Kashai and all the things that he does. Now, once again, we have royalty in the house. So just chill for a bit, darling. Not ready for you quite yet. But we have royalty. And the reason I say that is, like, by hook or by crook, I needed to get this young lady on the show. And it's probably by crook and hook, because I don't know how I was going to do it. Yes, I'm talking about you, the lovely Leanne. Everybody, because we don't even deal with millions. Shelley will tell you, we don't have millions. We're in the billions now. Leanne, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, don't say that. My heart's pounding as it is. Come on.
You have to laugh. Think about it. Billions. we're not even in the thousands. I don't think we're even in the hundreds, love. So don't you be worried about that. As far as you're concerned, you're talking to me on a Zoom, and that's all you need to know. That's all that's going on right now.
That's all I can see. And I saw
And that's
you.
all that there is. Trust me. We thought we had viewers, but they've all gone. No offense, love, because Shy's done his bit, and then everybody dipped out.
That's quite all right. It's just me and you having a conversation. So we've done that so many times.
So I do feel, no word of a lie, because you have never, ever been on a show. Am I right in saying that?
You're absolutely right in saying that, yes.
So there's a few people, I think I could see 2 people, and Shelley's probably one of them, that are actually watching, so don't be worrying about that. Louise Clark.
Louise, yes.
Louise is a second one.
Another friendly face, so that's all good.
Exactly. So those that are watching, the handful of people that are watching, please share your love. Any messages for the lovely Leanne? Leanne, can you tell us just a little bit about you? I'm not going to keep you here long because I know you're under the sweats and I know you're not even 100% well. I hope my young lady is there. Is she there?
No, young lady's gone to nanny's for a couple of days because she starts college on Friday. So she's just taken advantage of a couple of days with nanny. So yeah, she packed her bags and left last night.
It's like the show or nanny.
Doing tonight.
No problem. So for those that are watching, they're like, I've seen that lady's face. I've seen her, but don't really know much about her. She's a lady that does stuff with Active Luton, but there is so much more to you. And I worked with you back in the good old days of NTL, cable tel.
Many years ago.
Yeah, and Shelley, the producer. See, what goes round comes round, as they say.
Louise was watching. I went to school with Louise, so I've known her all my life too. So yeah, it's funny how you go in different avenues, and then I don't know, destiny or whatever brings you back at the right times.
Exactly. So if you don't mind, and it's not my fault that Anne's not here, so we got time. And myself personally also as well, because as much as I kind of know, but I don't really know. So I'd like to kind of know a little bit more about you before kind of talking about what you're up to now and how you got that injury.
Oh, yeah, the injury. Okay, so I've had 46 years living in Luton. So I'm a really big champion of Luton. I'm a really big champion of what happens in the community. I walk through the town and I'll stop and say hi to people, and the kids will be like, Mum, you know a lot of people. Well, I've worked in Luton, I've lived in Luton all my life, and I like to talk very much like you, Dee. I like to talk, I like to engage, I like to hear people's stories. So I always give people time, sometimes to my detriment, but I'm always an extended ear to listen to people. So grew up in Sundon Park, with mum and dad, went through Cheney's, Leland's, went to Luton Sixth Form College. Didn't know what I wanted to do as a job. Actually, when I was at school, I wanted to be a policewoman on horseback. But
oh, wow.
there were height restrictions back then. I wasn't tall enough, so I couldn't follow that career path. So I just navigated through various different jobs. NTL being a big proportion of my life. I had, I think, over 10 years there, 2 pregnancies there.
Wow.
And, you all saw my children grow up through my journey there at NTL. But unfortunately, that come to an end when they were took over by Virgin Media and they moved it up north.
That's right.
So I then went into another job working for AB InBev, which is Stella Artois, Budweiser and Beck's. Best working years of my life at times because of the perks of the job, a bar in the canteen. And it really was my social life as well. I didn't go to work. It was to be with my friends. We got the work done, but it was phenomenal. And some of my strongest friendship circles are from that working environment. And then I was made redundant another 2 occasions after that. So had to try and find what I wanted to do. And around that time, I was kind of stumbling into my 40s. And I think it happens to many women. When they hit their 40s, they reflect and they think, what have I done with my life? Where do I want to go with my life? And I was a little bit too comfortable. At that point, I was raising 3 children. My eldest is 24. I've got a middle daughter, 19. And then my youngest is 16. So I knew it was time to look after myself. They were becoming way more self-sufficient. And I was getting a little bit of the tie around the belly, not as fit as I wanted to be. So decided to go to a fitness class on a Monday evening at EBanks School, which was part of the Active Luton Me Time classes, and really quite enjoyed it. Again, for the social element, because I love talking to people, listening to their stories. Why are you there? What brings you here? What do you want to get out of it? Is it you just want to get away from the house and have me time? And that's exactly what the class was called. But I actually found I had a bit of a hunger and a passion for, I've gone from not being inactive to being active. What can I maximize out of this? What opportunities will come my way out of this? And at that time, I'd been made redundant, had a little bit of cash in the bank. And I thought, I might train and try and become kind of fitness instructor and have that as a bit of a side hustle, so I can go out and inspire and motivate others to make a change. Because from attending fitness classes, I had better mental clarity, my mental health, which I didn't relate to mental health then because it wasn't talked of as much 6 years ago as it is now. But I had more energy. My relationships were better. My confidence had grown. So I signed up to train to do a kettlesized class, which is training with a kettlebell. I'd never lifted a kettlebell in my life and turned up at this class with all these fitness people with all the right gear on and the right attitude and thought, wow, I'm way out of my comfort zone here. But proceeded to do the day course. Thought, right, I don't know what I want to do with it, but I've done the course. Let me do something else as well. Let me get another course under my belt. So I'd fancied a couple of, or I'd attended a couple of indoor cycling, what's called spin classes. Quite enjoyed them. Let me get on one of them courses as well. So again, done that. Then I thought, you know what, if I've got these courses, maybe I could go out and teach in the community. And it was around the time that Farley Hill had got some lottery money. So they had some funding. So I applied and done a bid for some funding, got £1,000. That got me the equipment of the kettlebells, paid for the hire of a venue, which meant then I could encourage people from what may be considered as a deprived area to come to a fitness class and pay me £1 or £2. £1 or £2 is for the commitment. That's for the commitment of me putting 20 kettlebells in the boot of my car, driving it to a location, learning a routine to be able to deliver it. And I done that for 6 months and it was phenomenal. I then went on to apply to Active Luton to teach for them and get paid to teach for them. But equally, I've done my own private hire classes at a venue on Camford Way, now the Movement Place, which was something before. And then started to tell my story. If I can go from the sofa to going out and being active, this is what it's done for me physically and mentally. I want to inspire others to do it. And over the 6 years since I've done that, so I started in my 40s, I've just become fitter, more confident, and so much so I've run 10Ks, 5Ks, park runs, half marathons, and now have the biggest challenge of my life in 26 days to run the London Marathon, 26.2 miles. So, and it's not about the race on the day. It's the commitment I've had to give it up until today, which is going out 2 to 3 times a week, by recruiting a health and wellbeing coach to encourage me to eat well, fuel my body, which I wasn't very good at. I didn't understand the nutrition. I was depriving myself of food because I wasn't depriving myself intentionally, but I wasn't well informed about how much protein should I be eating, how many carbs should I be eating, and what does my body need to be able to perform. But the health and wellbeing coach, Scott Taylor, #MoveMore, has been working with me for the last 6 weeks to get my food locked down, get my core strong, and most of all, get me mentally strong, because I'm under no illusion it's not going to be hard. I'm going to hit a brick wall, or it's going to be hard. So I've had to invest time in myself to do it. And whilst doing that, I was training to be a level 3 PT instructor as well, which I've since now qualified. I don't know what I want to do with that. So I don't know. Ask me again in a year time. So yeah, that's a whistle-stop tour of me and what I want to do. I just want to inspire people to get moving, because it's not the physical gains from moving. And I'm not a tiny shape. I've got weight on my thighs. I've got a bit around my middle. I've got bingo wings. But do you know what? You don't want to go to a class where someone is very slim and toned. I want to be relatable. I want someone to come to my class and go, gosh, she's quite fit. She sweats. She gets a red face. Yeah, we do. Because it's not easy, but you never regret it. You never regret going for a run. You never regret a workout. So do it and reap the rewards and the gains from being active, and then get medals like this one that I got on Sunday.
Absolutely amazing. I can't sort of like, how can we see your foot?
You can't see my foot right now, but I ran 20 miles on Sunday, which in the lead up to the marathon training, over the last 2 weekends, you should have been covering a distance of 20 miles to get you prepared for the marathon. So I applied for the Bedford Running Festival, which was a phenomenal event. It was fantastic. They had twilight runs and it ran across 3 days. But I was out running in newer trainers that I'd only broken once before. It took me 4.5 hours to get around the course of continuous running, a little bit of walking. I had really bad cramps in my shins. I don't think I was hydrated as well as I should have been, because I'd done 20 miles 2 weeks before. That was hard, but not as hard as Sunday. So I've spoken to a physio, Liam George, and said, what have I done to my ankle? And it's the compression of wearing a trainer I've not worn before. So it's holding my foot in a different position. And I've had some compression bruising, where I think the technical term is the perineal was just pounded where I got heavy. And I can't walk on my left foot at the moment. So I'm hobbling, I'm resting. I've got it up on a box under the desk at the minute. But do you know what? That's okay, because it was never going to be easy. My body, I'm 46 years old. My body it's tired, it's heavy. 4.5 hours continuous running is not normal. I said many times on Sunday, I'm retiring. Why do people do this? This is not fun. But afterwards, I went to the bar and got a little Prosecco, and I was all happy because I'd done it. So yeah, a couple of days rest, and I should be back to normal.
Absolutely fantastic. So how many days a week are you having in terms of preparation? Do you go out running every single day?
No.
Or do you have days off?
Yeah, it's so important you rest and you recover. And even my food is all about rest and recovery. And so I build up my food before I go out and do things, and make sure I get the carbs to give me energy. I eat the protein to ensure that I'm replenishing my muscles. So I commit to 2 to 3 runs a week. I've gone a bit beyond in the last 5 weeks, as in I've got my personal trainer. So I do 2 face-to-face sessions with him a week, Monday and a Friday at 6:30 a.m. for an hour, 2 sessions in the gym on my own, and then do my running as well. In addition to being a mum and a nan and us all living under this roof at home. But my family support me to allow me to go and do that, because I've been gifted an opportunity to go and run the London Marathon and to raise money for children with cancer. So I've had to commit for the last probably 5 months commit my time, and my family have, you know, give me the opportunity to go and do that. Because on Sunday I cried a lot when I ran 20 miles on Sunday. But my recovery's 2 or 3 days. Children with cancer and families of children that are going through cancer, their recovery is not going to be as easy as mine. And unfortunately, some of them are never going to recover. So that's what I will use to dig deep when I find it really hard on Marathon Day, October 2nd. When it gets tough, I just will think of those parents and those children and the money that's been coming in over the last few days, because times are hard. Like, as we go into winter, families within Luton and up and down the country are going to have to make a choice. Do I heat my home or do I feed my family? And that's a reality of what we're going into. So to ask for money, I appreciate, is difficult. So if lots of people give me £1 or £2, you know, that money's going to keep stacking up, and that will go to a really good cause. So I'm very proud to be running for them. I run with Luton Lions, which is a community running group in Luton. I am their lioness, because I run anywhere between 10 to 20 men on a Tuesday and a Sunday, and they really look after me. They are so motivating. I really have been welcomed into a community group, the Luton Lions. And honestly, if it wasn't their support, I wouldn't have got through some of these runs. They have, one of their teams will go up and down the A6 if we run into Rest Park, for example, in a car. They will stop and give us water. They will check in on the WhatsApp group. Does anyone need picking up? Is anyone cramping? Ping me a location. I'll send a driver. Like, that's just something else. That's not me going running out on my own. That's a community. So yeah, I can't thank the Luton Lions enough.
Wow.
And I'm just a normal girl.
For somebody who hasn't got much to say, you've got more than a little bit to say. You've got plenty to say. We need to hear more. I know we've got going across the screen because Shelley's actually put that on there. Sorry, she's told me my screen needs to be tilted more. Sorry about that. Yeah. Amazing. This woman can, most definitely. So what I'd like, obviously it's going across the screen. Just tell us again who you're raising funds for. We've got the information. We will continue to share the link up to when you actually do it, and obviously afterwards as well, Leanne. We will share that on our pages and on Pam Tango Radio page also as well. We'll also, Michelle, we can put that in the newsletter. We can add that in our newsletter also.
Well, it won't even be in the newsletter. I'll actually I need to put out a separate email to those that are sign up to the newsletter. So it will go out before the newsletter goes out. So it's way before you do it. Add to your list, Leanne, a little girl called Darcy, who was my cousin's little girl that's got through leukemia, and put £20 down from our family.
Oh, thank you. That's I got goosebumps as you said that. That's so touching. It's, if I can make a difference to anybody's lives by putting myself through this for no mental, it's no gain for myself. I'm doing this for others, for them to benefit, and it's just something that I can try and do, and I will do it. Oh, you know, if it takes me 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, I'm gonna do it, because I can change so many people's lives with the research that they do. Yeah. It says on my Just Giving page exactly everything that the money goes towards. So yeah, I really appreciate that. If anyone can spare a couple of pounds, I'd be most grateful to raise money for children with cancer.
But yeah, we'll send that out before the next newsletter's event meant to go out. I'll do it earlier.
Fab. That is absolutely fabulous. So we were sharing that. We're going to be following you. You know we're going to be following you. You know we support you. Anyway, Leanne, if I can just say before Leanne goes, Not only did I know Leanne from NTL days, I've been organising International Women's Day, Men's Day events and anything else. And this young lady, as you just heard, is doing 1,000,001 things. All the families, I'll help, I'll help, I'll help, I'll help, I'll help. So we're there.
Fabulous.
Can't actually do the run for you. we will be thinking and supporting and everything else. And we will watch that mount up, Leanne. That is absolutely awesome. And naturally, we're going to want you back in October, because actually the show is on the 4th of October. So wherever you are, feet up, we don't mind. If you just
I'm off that day.
Come back.
Yeah, I took the Monday and Tuesday off. The Monday I'm going to go for a massage. The Tuesday I'll still probably be hobbling. So I'll definitely come on that 4th. And actually, when I come back, I'd like to talk about my day job as well. So as you know, Dee, I'm a service manager for Total Wellbeing Luton. We support the emotional and physical health of the community. That's a job I fell into in my 40s, and that come out of me being active and having an interest in mental health. So I'd like to come in and talk to the viewers on how to access treatment if you are suffering from low mood, anxiety or depression, that there is free services available. You don't have to suffer. So I'd like to tag that on to another, because I've really enjoyed this. It was a lot easier.
I just knew. All you need to do, guys, is reel them in, and then it'll be like, I know I'm not going to be able to stop her. So yeah, exactly. That's what this platform is here for. So there's so many people out there doing absolutely amazing things. And sometimes for whatever reason, people aren't aware, don't know. And some people are probably seeing you posting. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, actually, there's so much more to this young lady. And actually, do you know what? I've been sitting at home for God knows how long. I think at least I could try and do something now. It doesn't have to be, a 5K, a 10K, but just even just getting off that sofa. Because do you remember during lockdown, you were like, my counterpart, Dee, have you? And I'm like, I'm just in the park, Leanne. I'm just going, and I'd done before and after pictures after going around my local park.
You used to voice note me, because I was like, have you been out today? Have you done anything today? And you used to voice note me. I'm just doing this to evidence that I'm actually walking around the park right now.
Yeah, but do you know what? I do body pump and I do core and kind of religiously type thing. And yeah, so that got me into a groove. So thank you, Leanne. I told you you're inspiring me. And just because nothing was really happening for a while, and yeah, I've got the groove now. So thank you so much for being you, seriously, and for everything that you do for, I'm sure, your family, but also for so many of us out there in the community. So this is just a big thanks from us to you. And as I sort of said, let's get you back on, and we're going to be sharing, and let's see those, the money rise on your page for that awesome cause.
Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Shelley.
No problem, darling. All right, we will catch up really soon. All right.
Look forward to it. Bye.
All right, thank you, darling. Bye-bye. So, 2 guests down. It's now 7:45. Got guests in the wings, as they say. So, for those that are watching, for those that have been on, for those that are coming on, please share. We are live. We're live on Simply Deez Events page, Facebook page, Pamtengo also as well, Facebook. And we are also live because we have a YouTube page. So please share, please subscribe. I did say buckle your belts a little bit. Soph, I'm going to come to you in a bit, but I'd like to, I'm going to go to a young lady that I've kind of just met. And sort of like on social media, and you might be kind of friends with somebody, but you don't really engage, that sort of stuff. And then yesterday I saw a post and it just led me to connecting with this young lady. Alison, yes, I am referring to you. So Alison,
I've
what's your
unmuted
surname?
myself.
Greetings, Alison. Greetings. Welcome to the show, my love, because I know you've not been on before, and I've just done a little intro, as in, because what I sort of say, I try and keep it real. We were friends on Facebook, but you know, our paths hadn't really kind of crossed. We never really met. Yesterday was the first time we'd actually spoken. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct. And I've always heard growing up, you have friend and you have friend. So I guess we're friends now, you know, now that we've spoken to each other. We're real friends.
We certainly are. Can you give the audience out there, because, you know, we're talking to the billions now, all right, maybe a few people, but it doesn't matter, because do you remember, this is global. Once we're online, it is global. Some people watch it live, some people you get sort of like up to the weekend, and then following weeks, and you see the numbers just creeping up because people start sharing with friends, family and contacts. So can you just give us a little bit about yourself, and then what I'm going to do, let's get into some stuff about what you're trying to do right now and how that comes about. And Shelley, I am going to pull you in, because I know, Alison, you were watching, because I shared with you our lunchtime show today, the Simply Together show, and I saw that you were posting in some of those comments as well. So we might be touching on sensitive areas for some people. Okay, so on Saturday, Shell, can you pop on for just a moment, please? And then I'll probably get you on, because Shelley's going to be off and on. Off and on today. She's like, who am I? Where am I? Her and her husband being busy. Sorry about that. So Saturday is, you've gone on to mute. Yeah.
It's World Suicide Awareness Day. Or World Suicide Prevention Day. It can be called either.
That's this coming Saturday. So for those that are watching, and potentially when you're sharing, we are going to be, as I said, I did say put on your seatbelt, because it is going to be a roller coaster of a show. We don't talk about a specific topic. It can be all sorts. It just so happens that when I came across Alison yesterday, I had no idea of certain things, and it so happened it just ties in with some of what we were going to be talking about anyway. So, Alison, do you want to just, as I said, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go on to what you're looking for help and support from the community.
Okay. I was born in Leeds. I've kept my Leeds accent, even though I've lived down here longer than I've lived in Leeds. I am mother to a 9-year-old, very energetic young man, and I am a radiographer. That's my full-time job. I work for the NHS. I've been working for the NHS on and off since 1990 when I qualified. So next month will be 35 years. I brand it as 35 years in radiology from the day that I stepped into the X-ray department as a student radiographer. So 35 years in radiology. And what else do you need to know? I don't have any cats. I don't have any pets of any sort. I do like a bit of gardening, and just behind my head there's something spinning on the washing line. It's one of those things that I got from Lidl. You just put it together. Can you see it's twirling like this?
See something, but I don't know what it is.
It's like an umbrella thing with like a twirly thing at the bottom, and I've put them in the garden just to make the garden a happy place. So when young man has his friends around, you know, rather than destroy my foliage, they've got those things to play with. So anything that spins in the wind is out in the garden. I hope it's not too distracting. I'll try and put my head in front of it like that.
No, it's not at all. Honestly, it's not at all. So you've given us a whistle stop. 35 years is a long time.
It is. Yep. And I spent most of that time working up and down the country. So I started off in Leeds. Then I was only doing like a part-time job share. And after a year, I said to myself, I'm too young to be working part-time in a job that I'm fully qualified to do full-time. So I had to pack up everything and zip down to Leeds. I had been offered 2 jobs. I had 5 interviews, and I had to choose between Hillingdon and Croydon. And back in the 90s, Croydon, the hospital that I interviewed at, was had no windows in the X-ray department. It was grey, and Hillingdon was open fields. So I chose Hillingdon. I was there for 7 years. And then I went to a private facility. And then, so it's been like a triangle: NHS private agency, NHS private agency. So currently I am fully employed as an NHS radiographer. And I was advised to get back into the NHS by the time I was 52 so that I could sit on my pension. So that's what I've done. Sit my pension. Can't retire till I'm 68. So that's 16 years sitting on a pension, unless I decide to do something else with the rest of the 16 years that the government has given me to, I have to wait for my pension.
One of them.
That's where we are.
I'm hearing you. So, because I know we're going to get you back on another time, but because the show, just due to time constraints, because it's packed today, what was a post that you posted yesterday that I read?
I have a friend who told me last week that she was going to an inquest on Friday, and the inquest was regarding her son, and her son had passed away, self-harm, and he had passed away 6 months previous to the inquest date. So it kind of came flooding back to me how I had felt when I read the text from someone else that this is what he had done. And the details were sketchy at the time because there was nothing on the internet about who, what, where. Usually the press gets onto this straight away. And there was another story of a similar incident that had happened, but not at the same train station. So without spelling things out too much, it was quite a violent ending. And when I felt the need to go and see her, and just, even if I didn't say anything, just to physically be there. And her partner told me that she wanted to see the last few seconds of the CCTV that they had in court, just to see his face for the last time. And again, it sort of hit me. And I'd already said to her before, I'm not really qualified to help you. I'm not a counsellor. I've 35 years in radiology. I know how to X-ray people. I know how to X-ray people that are living and people that are not living, but I don't know where to start with how to counsel you with this situation. So sometimes just going to someone's house and sitting there and holding their hand, or making a cup of tea, or bringing them some food or breakfast or whatever. But then it came to me as I walked past. They've got a bin area. Some of these council residences have a bin area where the big bins are there, and then the sort of like red, whatever colour bin you have, they all sit in this little, it's a nice little area actually. Yeah. It's a nice space just for a couple of bins. So I looked at it and I just thought, I could just clear this out and just turn it into something nice, and use the space so that when she goes into that space, even though she's got a little sun trap behind her flat, she's got another area where she can come to remember her son. She doesn't have to go to the local park or the local pond or anywhere else. I mean, she will visit the train station probably once a year, but she can just step out of her doorway, and that area that I'd like to create for her will be there. So yesterday I spent 2 hours clearing all the dumped stuff that had been left by previous residents, and then this morning we went back and did the hedge in the rain. It started to rain again, so we had to stop. And then I'm waiting to hear from her just to say, do you like it? Because what I've done at the moment is I've got a before and after video, and I intend to send that to the local borough council and the mayor and the local MP to say, would you like to help donate some items for this area? Some potted plants, some seedlings, anything that will just, right, even though it's a council area and it's the council's responsibility, nothing's been done to it for years. And it's a lot for one person to do, but when other people are not motivated to do it, maybe if they see you doing something, they'll just jump in and chip in. And, it's like the story of the guy that wanted to cook soup, but he had nothing, so he brought a pot, and he said, and everybody around him said, oh no, I don't have anything. And then as soon as he started putting salt and potatoes, somebody brought some meat, somebody brought some carrots. So it's that sort of scenario where if I start it, then hopefully the other residents there will chip in and sort of plug into the idea of just making that space nice rather than just leaving it for waste disposal. So yeah, that's what I'm in the middle of doing. I haven't sent the email yet, but I have got the email for the local MP, and I'll be doing that some point this week. You know, once that area is tidy, because the council could just come along and say, well, actually, we're just going to cut the hedge, and that's it. We don't need you to do anything to this area. But I'm just thinking about her well-being and how I help as a friend. And she's quite a recent friend as well, because since lockdown started, I've made a different circle of friends, because I collect crates of food and distribute them to families that need it. So I met her by just giving her a crate of food, you know, and then she gave me the backstory. I met her son 2 weeks before he passed away. So when I got the text, I'm like, you mean the guy that I met 2 weeks ago? So to me, I had only spent a couple of minutes with him, but I just thought if I had spent a bit longer, but then would the conversation have unfolded into how he was feeling and what he thought he might do in 2 weeks' time? I would never know, you know. And I think because I've experienced a very, very close family member doing the same thing in 2008. Again, that came running back, like when I was called, I was told sit down, and I thought it was my family member, but the family are so close to us, we're practically family anyway. So when I was told to sit down, I was like, okay. And then I was told this 22-year-old young man had self-harmed, terminally self-harmed, and the details were just so clinical. It was like, okay, and then what happened next?
Can I just stop you for there for a second? I can understand your wording of what you're saying. It is not self-harm. That would be what the coroner is obviously then looking at, to see if they were actually taking their own life, if they were actually ending their life by suicide. Suicide is not a word to be frightened of.
I'm not frightened of it. I've got a 9-year-old upstairs.
Yeah, but you're using the word self-harm, and I do need to actually explain to the people that are watching, self-harm and suicide are two completely separate issues. You can die by self-harm, but you're not necessarily wanting to actually take your life. You're not actually wanting to go along the lines of suicide. So I just do need to clarify that those particular words. But I can understand the way that you was actually then explaining that then.
Yeah, because my 9-year-old is still asking me what happened, how did he die, what did he do? And I don't want to use that word in front of him.
Can I ask the reason why?
Because it would expand the conversation into, he's a very curious young man, and I don't want him to, he repeats quite a lot of things that happen at home, and until we cancelled the contract with the childminder, he was repeating quite a lot of things there. Okay. And then the childminder comes back to me and says, he said this, he said that. And at the moment, he's misinterpreting a lot of conversations and a lot of things that are said at home. So I don't want him to go back to school and then use the word at school, and then it starts some sort of investigation and initiate something.
It's proven that by talking about suicide does not make someone take their own life by suicide. It does not.
I'm not saying that he's going to do that. Yeah. I'm just saying that he repeats things, and the school are very hot on just picking up on things and turning it into a situation.
And then they would have the conversation to explain what suicide is, because suicide can happen in anyone that I think we've had the conversation that was as low as 7 years old that knew about it and took their own life. They don't necessarily know that's the word suicide, but you're actually using that word doesn't actually make suicide happen more. It doesn't put the idea into anyone's head. But by saying self-harm, what could then happen is that when people do then self-harm, they're automatically assuming that would then be the end. There's people that self-harm to release the tension that's actually built into their body, and that self-harm is the way to release that. So some people would get angry and shout at someone. Some people then internalize that, and that's where self-harm then comes from in all its different variations.
I fully understand self-harm because I've had to x-ray young girls who push pens into their skin, young girls that break up CDs and swallow them in attempt to then it leads to a hospital trip, a hospital visit. So having x-rayed a number of girls for the same thing, and then you do the x-ray and you've got to maintain this face. Okay, you're done now. And to actually be called in on call because somebody has tried to eat a broken CD and tried to slash their gut by doing that. So I fully understand the different aspects of self-harm. But if self-harming terminally is not appropriate, then I will not use that term.
Yeah, I'm just saying where we're having discussions at the moment in the whole of mental health and suicide awareness, it's the terminology that's then used. So things like saying the word committed, when people say they committed suicide, it is still illegal in some countries across the world for you to take your own life, and you may not get the burial or anything that you wanted, and you could have people around you that are actually drawn into a police station because you've taken your life. There's still so it's still like that stigma, if you like, around the word committed. So there's all sorts of different language and all sorts of different conversations that are more prevalent now because of different situations and trying to make the world a safer place, if you like, a safer mental well place, a more suicide safer place, if you like.
I understand your explanation, and as you're speaking, I'm reminded that the only time that suicide was discussed in our house was when we came across the story at Easter when Judas hanged himself on a tree, and the conversation around that was, well, he did that out of a sense of guilt, and we're not going to really dwell on Judas, and we're not going to dwell on whether he went to hell or heaven or not. So it was, that conversation was always stunted.
Yeah,
and then sorry, Shelley, the young man that I refer to who took his own life in 2008, he was from a Christian family. His parents had both left the country and gone to America and left him in the care of his grandmother, who was praying, God-fearing, Bible reading, demon chasing. And he went to a party in January. His drink was spiked. His girlfriend didn't want him anymore, said, you can stay in the house and look after the dog. Next thing you know, he was found in the garage. So, even just explaining that now just got a shiver down my arm, because his dad has never returned to the UK, hasn't seen where he's buried. And the only thing I could do again was take some photographs to New York and leave the photographs with him and just let him pore over them for hours, just looking at his son, So for me, the conversations are really difficult because the person is too close for that. But the mum that Dee's making reference to, the post that I put up yesterday, she uses the word, and she wanted to see the CCTV pictures of him buying a ticket and going from one area to another and waiting for a high-speed train. She wanted to see it. And to me, that image would stay in if it was me, that would stay in my head forever. And I don't know. I don't know if I would want to see those last images or not. And technologies of such, is so advanced nowadays that you can freeze frame and you can fast forward, or go over it as many times as you like. I don't know if I'd want that image in my head, because I've had to x-ray dead people and dead babies. It's not a pleasant experience, but it's part of what I do, my day job, and I'm trained to do that. So I've only ever had to talk about this twice in the whole time that I've been a radiographer, and it's a lot closer to home now because this lady's literally around the corner, and I can get up tomorrow morning early and go around, do a bit of gardening, and come back home and get my son ready for school. That's where I am at the moment. So
yes. What because in terms of sort of like you coming on, Alison, this wasn't, I didn't have no idea what had gone on with the person in question whatsoever. because it's Suicide Prevention Day on Saturday, Shelley was already, as you saw earlier on today, already going to be talking on this subject. So for you to like come on and be sort of, I think this show, it is called Real Talk. And sometimes some of the things that we say or whatever the case might be, people, we're not all expected to agree on everything, but what we try to do is there will be links in there, like we had earlier on, for people to get support. For us all, myself included, is for us to be educated and to be able to learn certain things. That way then, if things happen, it will help us, even if it's signposting for ourselves or signposting for a friend, or even maybe just having a better understanding on certain topics. So I know Shelley totally, so just in case there's any confusion, totally in terms of what you're saying, it's just a case of what Shelley is doing now is just for, because the listeners and the people that are watching out there, is for them to be able to understand that there's certain language that in this field that we can use. Obviously, you're sort of saying, obviously, with your son, and you're thinking at 9, you don't want to be talking, you don't want him to hear, you don't want him to whatever the case might be. And I hear that and I get that. And I think at the same time, what Shelley's sort of saying is there's sort of like what we tend to do, we tend to sometimes, and that's not just yourself, myself included, I've got grandchildren, and we don't want to talk about things, or we don't say things. And sometimes when we think that we're helping, or that may not necessarily be the case. So that's all that's been.
You see, I know with him, he likes to research things. So if I use the word, then he'll go and he'll find videos on it and research it, and then it will turn into some sort of. Then he'll want to ask questions about what he's seen. And all I said to him was that her son hurt himself, and he's not coming back. So I use that terminology.
Yeah, so you would use the language that he would then understand, but don't then use any other language. Is what I was trying to explain, that if you use other language, other things get mixed in and then get more confusing. But yeah, to explain to children, especially when they're part of a situation where it's someone in their direct family that's died by suicide, it's the difficulty to trying to explain to them that it's nothing to do with what the child's done, that it's a person that is in crisis that has made that choice. And that's what it basically in black and white comes down to. It's someone that's at a crisis point that wants to end the pain and cannot see another choice that's available for them. And as someone that's trained in mental health awareness, in suicide prevention and intervention, all you can actually ask of them is to stay for now, to step back from that situation, perhaps begin giving them some other options that they could look at, because all they would have actually been thinking about is what's going on in their own mind. They've only gone across those different options in their own heads. They haven't spoken to anyone, or they've tried to speak to someone that perhaps wasn't the best fit for them. There are some doctors that still, when it comes to mental health, are not actually forthcoming and decide the only thing that's option for me is to give someone a pill. That could work in quite a lot of situations. It does work. In other situations, it won't. And there's that limbo that's in between before it does work. There's all these different things that could affect a decision that's then made. And it's unfortunate it's at that crisis point, and it can happen in children. And my own personal story in my family is a young lady of 13 taking her own life because she was underneath cams. She was being counselled. She had other people talking to her in the family, but she still had that point of coming home from school because of one situation and deciding that is my only course of action to stop this pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that is it's that crisis. So it's explaining to children that it's in their own language that they will then understand, and there are certain things that you can then do. For instance, at the moment, if you're worried about your child actually looking up certain things, there's what I've just put into the chat. There's the Ripple Suicide Prevention, and it's actually it's an app, if you like, that goes onto a computer. That unfortunately Google and things should do this, but they don't. There's an app that you put on your computer, so if someone then looks up self-harm, if someone looks up suicide, it'll actually bring up help pages instead of bringing up all these other videos that are showing children what they're doing or how to do it, and all those kind of things that then show up on, unfortunately, all these adult kind of search engines and things.
Well, my son is of the ilk where he was saying to me today, "Oh, Mum, how do cats make babies? Do they just lie on top of each other and do stuff?" And I'm like, okay, because it's the kind of conversation I give him tiny bits of information as we go along, because he has repeated stuff that I've told him about making babies at the childminders in front of the other toddlers, and the childminder didn't really appreciate it. So then he said, "Well, I looked up something about how dogs make babies, and I was asked to verify my age." Like, 'cause there's probably adult content on there with dogs, so that's probably why you were asked to verify. So can you imagine his mindset now if I give him that word? I mean, we could probably talk about euthanasia, and that wouldn't be an issue. He'd go and look it up, and he'd be quite inquisitive. But to use the word suicide, and for him to have that in his head, to go and search, Mum, what, and going into how do people do it, and why do they do it? Those conversations, I don't want to give him too much information, because he repeats, and then other adults in his circle want to know why he's been exposed to this kind of conversations, and then I'd have to explain, well, somebody very close to us, this happened to her son, and social services may get involved, and other people get involved, because my son has gone to school using words that he's heard at home, and they're going to ask him, "Where did you hear this word?" So that's why I don't use the word. I'm not necessarily frightened of the word. I'm just conscious that I don't want him to lose his innocence too early, and for him to be telling me that he's looking up things to do with how dogs make babies means that he has the ability to find stuff of adult content that I need to be on top of what he's viewing and what he's searching for. And again, it all goes back to the school, because the school are very hot on everything right now.
Which is what sort of like which Shelley just posted up on there. Patricia, who is a learning assistant, that just came up on there, and what she's put is, in my primary school where I work, we do explain what the terminology of self-harming is to 9 and 10-year-olds, but she totally understands what you're saying, and maybe that's something that perhaps speaking to the school and then having that conversation, so that way then you're all on the same page and they know what's going on, rather than leave it and something else may potentially be said. So I'm not.
If you look out onto the Simply Deez page on World Suicide Day, I'll actually be forwarding out the Ollie Foundation. I've actually then been working very hard to actually do a schools program. So every school will actually then have a program to follow if someone's talked about suicide, or if a member of the school at all sorts of different ages have actually taken their own life by suicide. So anyone that's actually affected by it, so it's someone that's in their family or a child that's actually at the school, there is a thing that's actually then being sent out to all schools that the Ollie Foundation have done. So
I've heard of the Ollie Foundation. I have heard of the Ollie Foundation, because another friend of mine, who is a police officer, he has an organisation that organises football matches with young people. And
3.
Yes, Michael Wallace and Ashley, get Ashley's surname, but I think
Levin.
Michael's got an OBE or an MBE as well.
Yeah, we know Michael. He's been on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the lady that I was telling you about, my friend, she also, if I'm running late, she'll collect him from school or from the childminder. And I've come to realize how prevalent suicide is in people's lives, because childminders, yep, my son tried to do it twice, and my friend's partner, yep, my son was found in the garage. And it's almost like nobody will really say anything until you bring it up as an individual, and it's a very, very, very sensitive subject. But then the conversation starts, then it ends. You know, my son tried it twice. That was it. Okay. You know, the thing is, my son now wants his own mobile phone, and I'm like, no, but it's not something that I feel is necessary for somebody who's 9 years of age, and we are within walking distance of school. Where are you going to be? You're going to be upstairs, or you're going to be in the back of the car. You know, you don't need a phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
This is
again, when
Alison.
I was listening earlier,
Alison.
sorry, I was
Sorry,
listening
brother.
earlier, and somebody said it's 24/7 now. The whole thing about being on a phone, you can leave the bullying at school. You used to be able to leave it at school, but now it's on the phone. So
Yes, so much. Yeah, we could. There's just so much we can talk about, but I've still got about 5 guests that I've got to cram on. So, what I'd like before you go is just what is it that you would like help with?
I would like, if possible, for people to donate items. I'm quite happy to collect as long as it's not too far away, or if they feel that they can, to donate money to help beautify the area that I was referring to earlier. What I really want to do is just for everyone just to give a little something physical rather than monetary donations, because I know money is tight for a lot of people right now. But I am also going to go to the council and the MP and the mayor and see what they can give me first. And when the project's coming along, hopefully send you a few pictures. I've already uploaded 2 videos, the before and after, which I'm circulating at the moment, but I just haven't got round to sending that email to the powers that be. So really, I think it's just maybe also just keeping an eye out for people around you, and any little thing that you can do if you feel that somebody is just not motivated enough to do certain things around elements of self-care. I think that would be my parting message. I don't think I need anything right now, Dee.
Okay.
Just wanted to share that with you, not knowing that this was the week leading up to, Suicide Awareness Day. But yeah, my friend doesn't actually have access to the internet. Her grandchildren do, so it might be a case of, as time goes along, asking her if she wants to see this
Okay.
video, the pre-recorded
Certainly.
video.
There's so much information out there that Shelley's posted, not only just on here, but also earlier on, and has access to. So I've got somebody that has got to go on to another show that I need to get on so that she can get onto the other show also as well. But there's been quite a few messages. So go on and
I'm not sure where the chat is, because I'm looking at the link that you sent me. Are the comments on Facebook or YouTube?
they're on Facebook.
Okay, I'll go to there then.
They'll be on Facebook. So, right, I'm going to need to go and bring on our next guest.
Have a good evening.
So, yes, thank you. Okay. Wow. Yes, Veronica EBanks, I can see you. Let's bring this young lady on. She has another show to go to. Her time is precious.
All of us have precious time. Good evening, Dee. Good evening.
Certainly do. We certainly do.
I was listening keenly to the last couple of speakers. Yeah, very, very, very. It's quite emotive and sensitive, and I respect the rights of parents to manage their children's learning.
Thank you, Veronica EBanks. I know you have another show to go to, so that's why. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, and it's packed show. It's now 8:15, and I've still got a load of guests that I've got to bring on. So, for people that don't know who you are, I don't know why they don't know who you are, because you are famous, absolutely famous, and there's a busy weekend coming up right now. So, in a Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then just get straight into what's happening on Sunday, and for those people that haven't, what they need to be doing.
Right. So I'm Veronica EBanks. My name's on the screen, and I know you can all read, but for those who can't, for whatever reason, yeah. So I'm Veronica EBanks, and I am a safeguarding trainer, coach, entrepreneur, author, and a few other things. And I know Dee through the Simply Deez, or I've known Dee quite a few years, even before Simply Deez was Simply Deez, CIC. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what else to share at this juncture, other than I have a love for books, literature, theatre, people, nature. And
what do you call your, I don't mean it flippantly, but what do you call yourself? The skilled helper?
I call myself the skilled helper, because it seems as if everything I've done so far in my working life has been to help other humans in some way, some shape or form, whether it was teaching, whether it was working in the labs, testing food, setting up blood blood tests and things. It's always been to support and to help people. And then going into the safeguarding to help prevent abuse, to ensure that children will thrive and adults at risk will be safe, kept safe, and all of that. But I did that in the community and in the educational setting. So I kind of went sideways from teaching, because I realized in teaching that what stopped a lot of students learning was the issues, whether that issue was self-harming, whether those issues were a teen pregnancy, whether those issues were, a multitude of issues that you can think of that a student could experience. Mature students, DA, domestic abuse, substance abuse, the toxic trio, mental health, alcohol and drugs, DA. Young people are in those environments. Young people who have been made homeless. Young people who have run away from home, but they've come to college, but they're sofa surfing. Parents might ring in to speak to the safeguarding advisor or speak to the tutor first, and the tutor will contact someone like me. And then I will contact social care or the police if needs be, and then liaise with those organizations and those bodies to support that young person and to ensure that their needs are met, and that if there is any abuse going on, that things are investigated. So all the paperwork associated with all of that, that's what I would do. Not so much now, because I took redundancy in 2014 from those kind of roles in being employed then. Yes. and went to self-employment. And I took redundancy and decided I wanted to work for myself as opposed to work for someone else. I realized I had skills, knowledge, expertise that someone would pay me for, and I could still make a living using what I knew and all the training and all the knowledge and the transferable skills that I had acquired over many years. That I could fend for myself. I could run my own business and get paid.
And where has that led you to?
Right, where's that led me? I've just seen.
I've still got on my seatbelt, by the way, everyone. Because when we said this was a roller coaster of the show, we don't muck about, messing about.
I agree with Shelley. Shelley's just put something on the screen that sometimes the safest place for them is in school and college, and then work, because for some young people it is, and that's the place where they disclose, and that's the place oftentimes to a trusted person that they disclose certain things that's going on, abuses and neglect that's going on. But anyway, what has my self-employment and my entrepreneurial things led me to? So I started a small business in 2017, a micro business. I have a skin condition that I wanted to manage. I'd had enough of the prescription medication and potions and lotions and whatever, and started to make my own natural skincare. And to date, I still make it for customers. It's my little side business, and I suspect that will stay a micro business. Okay, and then the writing. All right, so in 2020, we had the pandemic hit, and Dee was running her online sessions as opposed to the in-person soirees we used to enjoy. So we had gone online, and I think it was around about May time. I remember saying to Dee, because we were meeting by Zoom each week, I remember saying to Dee, in my heart, I just felt, this is really, really good. The benefits of meeting like this, it was mainly women. I think now and again we'd have the odd fella pop up in the Zoom, but it's mainly us.
You're talking about Gary.
Did Gary used to pop up then in 2020? I can't remember. But I can't say it was always women. I know there must have been some men from time to time. Gary may have been one of them. Yeah. So anyway, I remember saying to Dee, we need to capture this because this is really good. The benefits are almost tangible. Let's create a publication. I didn't even want to say the word book to Dee. So that's what I said first of all. I said, maybe we should, produce a publication. But in my head, I meant book. And Dee put the question to the ladies in the group. And as a consequence, 20 plus ladies, 22 of us, wrote the book, Life in a Lockdown 2020 Behind Closed Doors. Now, some of those ladies were already authors. Let's just make that clear. There's about three of the ladies that were already published authors. But what a fascinating thing. Didn't see that coming, right? Didn't see that at all, that we would become authors in 2020. And then subsequently, book 2 came out, all right? So from one little seed, one little idea, it yielded much fruit. And I think, if I'm honest, I'm going to conjecture that the majority of women who participated in the writing of the books, their confidence has grown. Confidence has grown. It's given them new insight that actually I could do something. I could take on a challenge. I didn't think I could do that. And I heard it quite a few times. I never, ever thought I could be an author. I never, ever thought I could write. It's a book or some kind of writing, whether you're writing for magazines, whether you're writing for, online, on apps like Medium or whatever. If you have something to say, why not write it? If you keep journals, by the way, I'll come to that in a second, but if you keep journals and diaries, did you know you could turn your diary entries or your journal into a book? Because journals and diaries contain vast amounts of information that can be of benefit to someone else. Have you ever thought about that? Because this is what I came across, a journal that I kept about 12 years ago. I found it this year. I found it this year and I looked at it and I thought, this is a bit personal. I don't think I could share this. But another voice said, why not? If it can help someone, if it can help another woman, publish. And I went the self-publishing route. So I'd never self-published anything before, but I'm one of these people, I'm always learning new things. I'm always learning new things. So I went on to YouTube, I read stuff, and I thought, yep, I'm going to do this. And self-published it. And the book is called the Hysterectomy Chronicle. And it's available now. It's on it's on the big one, Amazon. And yeah, it's all about hysterectomy. I know the next question Dee's going to ask me. What are you going to ask me, Dee? Or shall I carry on talking?
Carry on talking. I ain't asking you no big question because I know what's happening and when it's happening. It's a case of this is your chance as in author. There's not many times that people actually get an opportunity to get up close and personal with an author to ask certain things. Plus also, let's tell them what's going to happen on the day. Because that way then, do you know what? I would make the effort to attend in person.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just take a step back a minute. Hysterectomy is one of those subject matters that we rarely speak about. It's kind of taboo. I still believe it is taboo. And if we do speak about it, we'll probably speak about it to our close friends and maybe family members. And some family members don't even tell their other family members that the procedure they're going into hospital for is a hysterectomy, because it's sensitive, it's intimate, it's tied up in womanhood and what is a woman, what makes a woman a woman. And for some individuals, the womb, the uterus, the fallopian tubes, all of that machinery, all of that physiology then is all bound up in womanhood for some, not for everybody. And to have that taken away, that is a big deal for some women. Now, when I looked at my information, I didn't have a great experience, by the way, right? But I'm not going to say much on that. What I came to understand, and even today, each day, as each day goes by, I ask, where is the information about hysterectomy from people like me? And how do I know that the treatment and the healthcare I received was the best healthcare? And was my outcome typical? Was it the best outcome I could have had? I'm not going to know that because no one is talking. No one is sharing any information about hysterectomy. Now, culturally, as a Black Jamaican woman, I was raised, you don't talk your business. You don't talk your business. You keep it to yourself. You know, and then if you're going to speak about it, you're going to whisper it to only a select few, if anybody. So what we don't have a body of information and data so that we can look at that and judge whether we are getting, when I say we, I mean people that look like me, African diasporans, are we getting the right advice? Are we getting the best advice? Are we being given all the options? Or are we just considered, well, she's a strong Black woman. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm really sorry, guys, about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Disturb the show. My phone went off. I'm going to have to put it on silent, actually. I think it's the producer of the other show calling me. But when I look at it, I think we need a body of data. We need information. If we're not talking to each other about our experiences, we're not going to judge whether there are health inequalities. Right now, I've been doing some research and I've pulled off some papers online from .gov UK, patient satisfaction with hospital care. You won't be able to see that, but that's one of them. I've also pulled off an article about Black women dying, you know, the likelihood of Black women dying 5 times greater than other women, right? I pulled that off. There's a personal story.
Is that in the procedure or is that generally?
I'm talking about inequalities generally now.
Right.
Yeah. Childbirth, 5 times more likely to die in childbirth, Black women or women that look like me and you. Right. And I like to look at the evidence from credible sources. Right. So here's one paper that I pulled off, an article from Cosmopolitan UK. It's a lady called Candice Brathwaite. And that article, she wrote that in August 2020. It's a very interesting read. I pulled that one off. I mentioned the patient satisfaction with hospital care. Did I mention that one? There's also information from the Health Foundation about quantifying health inequalities in England. If you go onto their website, 15th of August 2020, there's some really good information there. So the question is, why? Why are we seeing health inequalities amongst us? So on Sunday the 11th, right, at 7 p.m. at Little Red Creative Studios, I'm launching the book, Okay, I'm launching my book, The Hysterectomy Chronicle, which is here. Get your ticket and come along. When you buy your ticket on Eventbrite, you will get a copy of the book when you arrive. Okay, you'll have a free drink. There'll be nibbles. There's a little bit of entertainment, but the core of the event will be a panel discussion that the dear Dee Bailey, sitting in the box next to me, will be the host for the evening. All right. So do come along, because we're going to be talking about some of this. We don't talk about fibroids. The research, who is putting money into research into fibroids? Because that's why I had my hysterectomy, by the way. For women who, it's a big topic. For women who don't have children, and the diagnosis is, and the prognosis is, then what? So we are going to unpick this. I always use the term lifting the lid. We are going to be lifting the lid on Sunday on this, right? So please come along, join in. You don't have to say anything, but you can ask questions.
There's going to be a panel. Am I right?
There's going to be a panel. I think there's going to be about 3 or 4 of us on the panel, and we are going to be discussing hysterectomy, reasons for, because there are various reasons for, types of hysterectomy. When we had our hysterectomies, there'll be ladies there who may have had hysterectomies already. I know that for a fact there will be. Were we given all the options? When we were in hospital, did we get the best care? How were we treated? Did we get pain meds on time? Right? So we do need to have this conversation. We have to have this narrative. We have to start looking about ourselves. I know that doesn't sound, that might not sit well with some people, but if we just leave it and we just ignore, and we don't start conversations and asking questions ourselves, well, why is it that this is happening? Or why is that outcome different from that outcome with this individual and that individual? We need to know. We need to pay attention, because we don't want our daughters. I have granddaughters. I've got 9 granddaughters.
Wow.
Right? And I'd hate to think that they'd get to a place and their healthcare is still unequal to someone else's. So Sunday, do get your ticket. It's in Luton Centre, in the town centre. Easily accessible, and it's not going to be too late either. It's 7 o'clock, and by 9:30 we're finished. All right, get your tickets, guys. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be eye-opening. It's going to be insightful, and I'm hoping to learn something from you guys as well. I don't have all the answers. I don't. In fact, I'm at the research stage. I want to find out why. Okay, I want answers. And if we come together and start talking, well, when I was in hospital, I had anti-embolism stockings on the day of my surgery. Someone might say, well, I didn't have any. So why not? What's the difference? Is it because I was told, depends on the consultant you have. My consultant didn't believe I needed them, so I didn't have them. But yet still 3 other women, there's a ward of 4, 3 other women in 3 beds, 4 of us in there, 3 had them. I didn't. Okay. So yeah, we could talk all evening.
I know, but we're not going to be talking all evening. So how much is it, V? How much is it, Veronica? And what does that include?
The tickets are £16. I've already kind of given a quick overview of what the ticket entails. But when you get your ticket, when you arrive, you will get a copy of the book. Maybe not as you walk through the door immediately, but you will get a copy of the book. A copy of the book with your name on it, because you've bought a ticket, will be there waiting for you.
Signed copy.
Signed copy.
Brilliant.
All right. It's not a massive tome, but my journal, that's what that is. It gives a month by month what happened to me, my journey, and my outcome.
I was fortunate enough for you to send me that when it first, I don't think it was out at the time. And it says it's my personal account. And I thought,
intimate
account. I thought, okay. And then when I finished it, I thought, and I did ring you and I said, I didn't realise you meant personal. Yeah. There's bits, and I thought, she's not going to go there. And you did.
Yeah.
So I have to.
Yeah, thank you.
Seriously, I don't know what I could have gone. And so when you say that, you do mean that, it is. And I think that's what keeps it so true. So I applaud you for that. I am super excited and looking forward to Sunday. Guys, the information is on the screens. It's on all of our pages. Please, 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 you need to purchase your tickets in advance. They are not payable on the door. You can understand there's refreshments that are provided. You need to know your numbers. You need to know what you're working with. So please, please, please. Lee, I'm going to let you go because they're obviously hounding you down. Okay, and we will catch up soon, darling. So Veronica, EBanks, thank you so much. Shelley Titmus, come on the screen.
Yeah.
You still hanging in there?
Yeah.
I did say, did I not say at the beginning of the show, did I not say to people put their seatbelts on? Did I say that? Nobody ever believes you. And then they're like, do you know what? They're kind of midway through coming on a dipper or going up. And they're like, shit, I need to put on my belt. We ain't ramping. We don't ramp.
Yeah, I was just doing, as I normally do, I was just doing a little bit of fiddling around while people are talking and stuff. And that was just one of the many things that obviously people are looking into it, but nothing's actually been done about it. They've sat there and they've looked at results from different areas and bits and pieces, but nothing actually then comes from it. And then as V was then saying about actually having different surgeons or giving you different things. Yeah, when I went into hospital last, there was 2 of us that was having the same operation under the same department, but 2 different surgeons.
Yeah,
we had 2 different ways of they were actually dealing with us. Doesn't make sense at all. Like your one surgeon can say, no, you've got to have this, and another one can say, no, you've got to have that.
Else has got to have something different. Here, Aurea, I can see that you've landed. Sit tight, sweetheart. Sit tight. I'm not quite ready for you. You're coming on, but I'm not quite ready for you. Yeah, I've got one lady that is going to come before you, and then I'm bringing you on. That's if she's still there and she hasn't fallen asleep. And I don't mean that nastily because she was there before. I think I was even on this evening. Sophie Gresswell, are you in the house?
Yes.
Yay!
I'm here.
Oh, bless you, darling. Bless you. Thank you so much for being so patient. And
no, thank you. It's been fascinating to listen to everyone, and thank you for having those conversations. It's the first place that I've heard people speak so openly about these things. So it's really nice actually to hear that.
Oh wow, thank you. And thank you for saying that, because the show isn't supposed to be, and Shelley will tell you, even Shelley's producer, I host, and we're both in terms of Simply Deez. That doesn't mean that we're going to agree on everything, and this is real life. That's why it's called Real Talk. So you're not going to always be in agreement. Some things I might say, Shelley's like, well, actually, and it's not a case of like, we need to, if I say challenge, it's the way you do things. And that's what, say for instance, I don't expect us to agree on everything, but it's the way that I say something to you. It's the way how we speak to one another. So on this show, we are more than happy for people to come on, and we don't have to agree, but it's the way that is all conducted. So thank you so much for saying that. So welcome, Sophie Gresswell. Some people going like, oh, I know her. I've seen her around. Oh, I've seen her doing around. Yes, she is. So Sophie, I do believe, if I say you were a local young lady, am I right in saying that? Are you Luton homegrown or not really?
Yeah. No, I was born in Luton. Grew up here, Luton. I haven't got the tea.
We get you. Yeah. That's it. I was saying, do you know what? If my granddaughter was listening, she'd be going like, Nanny, she missed out the tea. She didn't say Luton. Brilliant. Drop that tea. That's yeah. Tiana would be telling you, because she's like, I'd say like, go and get some water, and she's like, Nanny, it's not water, it's water. And guess who taught her that?
Yeah.
Me. I taught her that, and then she's corrected me because I'm dropping my tea. Unbelievable.
Yeah. That's
So
what my mum always used to
homegrown.
say to me. Well, she's not. Yeah, my mum used to say the same to me, and I was just like, what?
Oh, how do we, Sophie? Because those people out there, there's people that know of you, and there's a lot of people that ain't got a clue. There's some young lady on the
Yeah.
screen, Sophie Gresswell. Who is she, and what does she do? You do so much. How do we kind of try and condense that? And obviously, we want to talk about your up and coming project that Simply Deez are going to sort of like get involved in as well. So, over to you.
Yeah.
And stop dropping that tea.
Never.
Shelley's like going, yes.
So what am I is a different question. So that's pretty much what
You
my
wear
work
so
is
many
about
hats,
as well.
as V would say, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm an artist, multidisciplinary, which means I can't really decide what I want to do. So I do all sorts of things, but so painting, poetry, some digital work, all sorts, but it's mainly about sort of identity and belonging. And I'm calling it now interconnected heritage because of some research I've been doing about where my family comes from, and then realizing that actually we're linked to like so many places in the world, and just having spaces, trying to make spaces where we can have those conversations about, oh yeah, so I'm from here, but actually, you know, we interconnect in so many ways, in so many different places, that, and over so many different generations, that actually, you know, we're deeply connected, and just having spaces to explore that without, like you were saying before, having those conversations where sometimes it's uncomfortable and you don't agree with each other, but a space where actually that's okay, and we can just talk about it.
Okay, because there's so much, you know, you'll kind of come back on anyway. That's without a doubt. You're definitely coming back on. So what I need to know from you, what are you up to now, and what are you up to next Thursday?
Yes. So now I'm in exhibition prep mode, trying to get everything ready, because I've got a show in the Depart Lounge in Luton, which opens on the 15th of September. So instead of having a private view, because I hate that wording, I've said in the Hat Factory at 7 p.m. we're going to have a talk, just a discussion about heritage. So I'll drop on that link to the roundtable talk. It's free. You have to book on just for capacity, but it's completely free. There'll be some refreshments, and afterwards we'll be going to the gallery to have a look at the work. And there are some works that people can contribute to and build upon, which I want them to do, you know, throughout the show. And if you can't make it on the 15th, it will be open. It will be on show until the end of October, 29th of October. And there'll be other events. So I'll be working with UD and some other local artists from different backgrounds to do sort of talks, and just people can drop in and drop out of them. Yeah, but it's just having that space so we can explore together. But yeah, please do come if you can on the 15th at the Hat Factory. 7 till 8 is the talk, then the gallery's open till 9.
So automatically, I know people will be thinking, so in terms of, you know, you're talking about like ethnicity, and what ethnicity you're talking about. Are you talking about just English? You're talking about who are you talking? Who is this geared for? Is it everybody, or just?
It's for anybody, because part of the project is to reclaim what we mean when we define British. So it's, you know, and what that means, and how many different cultures and histories and, you know, experiences that culminates in, because we so many times we get split into categories, and say, check this box for this because this is what you are. And then I was digging into my ancestry and I was like, wait a minute. So my grandpa's from an island where, you know, East India Company took people from Philippines, from East Asia, from India, you know, there's West African burial grounds there. I know some of those people went to the, you know, Caribbean, were taken to the Caribbean. So, I mean, there's so many links to so many different things. And although I'm British and I'm Lutonian, you know, I've been brought up, and that's who I am. And that's, you know, that is home for me. I'm just discovering that actually I've got links to all these different places, and how important it is for us all to sort of recognize, I think, how tied together we are and our histories are.
As opposed to being, Do you know what I was just thinking?
Exactly.
Actually, only because I'm like listening to you now, and I'm like, it's a shame that it's starting like back next week, because I mean, I don't know if there's an age on this. Is there an age?
Let me have a look. I haven't put an age in it, but I think they've put age guidance on the talk. But I haven't put any sort of limitation.
Because I was just thinking
that's what they've suggested.
Oh, 12 plus, yeah. But just as in like just hearing from young people. Because obviously they're back at school now. And sort of like probably of an evening that, you know, it's in bed, all that sort of stuff. But I mean, it would be interesting to hear sort of like some of the younger people, what their thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. And I might work with the Departure Lounge about getting a school in, because I know sometimes they do that, and just having a workshop with them. Because a lot of the times I do go into schools and sort of chat about this. And actually kids are more on it than we are, really, because
this
they
is
have
what I'm saying,
conversation.
So you might have something very interesting that's kind of like just from a young person that just kind of like put something different into, you know, obviously what you're doing there. So please, what else do you want to share with the guys before you disappear?
Well, so if you want to see my work, I've got Instagram is at @Gresswell Art. I've got a Facebook page which is Sophie Gresswell Artist. And if you're around, just send me a message. You know, and I'm happy to see other people's work, to collaborate, just to learn more about each other. And then, we'll see what happens. That's what I always like to do.
Fab. Now, I don't think it would be right for me to let you go. You've given us a load of information, which is absolutely fabulous. We've been sharing on our pages, and Shelley's put it all. It's literally everywhere. But I need you to drop a little bit of poetry, because some people, she don't look like no poet to me. I bet she ain't got no poetry. So I'd like for you, myself included, if I'm honest with you. I might have heard you say something the other day, but I couldn't really hear. The music was too loud. No, I'm only kidding. Can you share something with us before you leave tonight? Would that be okay?
You've dropped me in it there, Dee. Completely dropped me in it there.
I do believe you said I'm a poet, I'm an artist. I'm not asking you to paint anything.
Oh, yeah, I did. It's my own fault. I can do. Let me take a second to get it up.
That's okay. That's okay.
Because I admire poets that can do their mind, because I cannot.
Well, you've got so many things going on, so don't be worrying about that.
Okay, so this one is quite appropriate. All right, I've got something up, so why not? Let's just. So this one called Loop, and it's about what I've just been talking about, so it's quite appropriate about all being connected. Fabulous. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. We thought looping shoelaces were the first knots we ever made, until the very first tie was our umbilical cord. Before our brains were formed, we already tangled up with another. Like mother before, while she twinkled in the eye, we lay dormant as eggs unformed. We knots here before waters broke, linking displaced Amazons through fleshy rope, wrapped round parcel past, present tense, future loop. Redelivered, we begun, we spun silkworm fetus threaded through time, rhyme pumped up in human lungs. Androgynous lump, ambidextrous learn, ambiguous light, us double-jointed and boisterous until we grow up. Our tongues tied together in parcel past, present tense, future loop. Taught how to knot our shoes, one foot in front of the other. We follow mother, her prints leaving our tread. A leaf on ancestral knotweed, a dreadlock on history's head, a skin wrapped in parcel past, present tense, future loop. Do not remove ancestral shoes, the intergenerational lace that twist together our roots. Retrace the footsteps, unpack, unpick, resew, restitch, back to our beginning. The past will not become future loop for us to swing in, but be silk woven connection through present tense, armed with hanging knots suspended in our stomach, which were never knots at all, but us tugging on your umbilical cord. From parcel past to present tense, will future loop. There you go.
I couldn't find, when I want to mute, I mute quick, and then when I want to off mute, it's like, where's the... Shelley!
Thank you.
Drop back on that screen for a moment. Is
I
this
love
lady, do you know what? I love the way kind of like, there's people that you may have known about, but your paths just haven't crossed. And then when they do cross, they don't realise it. The Simply Deez crew realise we don't let them go. We don't let them. So for yourself, Sophie, that's it. Game over, girl. You're not going to get rid of us now. Thank you so
One
much.
by me.
Oh my gosh. Shell, what do you think? I just need to kind of take 2 seconds out. I'm just absorbing all what's gone on. And this is me, in all honesty, prepping for what's coming. Trust me.
No, I just think it's something that, especially for Luton, see, I said the T, to actually have something, it needed to be either Luton or it needed to be like Birmingham kind of thing, to have a what you said about the interconnected heritage. We live with it, we've grown up with it, and to actually now sit back and then have those stories there. I mean, some of the kids nowadays wouldn't actually then understand about sort of this is now just the norm, but it's slowly been like that natural progression over, and to actually have something physically there that you can actually see and read or look at, or all the other different mediums that you can do when you've got stories like social stories like that is yes, it's gonna, I'm sure it sounds amazing.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
That's
and I like to stress.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say, Soph?
And there's space for people to come in and add their own stories, and it's going to grow with people. So like they're not bored that people can completely take over. So yeah, please do.
And it's in a perfect place for it as well, to have how they change in the hat factory district around, to have these old buildings where so much of Luton was taken out, that to have this kind of a project in that kind of a place just makes it even better. Deez still having a moment.
Oh, no, I know what's coming. That's why. Not you, Soph. So I've just tightened my seatbelt. That's all I've done. I've not loosened it. I've tightened it. Stay around if you can, Soph. Not necessarily on, but at least like tune in and listen if you can. But yeah, thank you for taking time out tonight and everything else. And we will catch up with you soon. See you later, darling. So, Miss Titmus, yes. I'm now going to bring on our next guest, who I've not spoken to, by the way.
Oh, right.
Spoken to, but okay. I'm ready for you now, Aurea. Come on down. Greetings, young lady. Greetings. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good indeed. I don't know how much of the show you've seen, you've watched, or if you've even watched it before, but you may not have. At the very beginning, I did tell people to put on their seatbelts. I ain't joking.
Yeah.
To put on their seatbelts, because what you'll find, 1 minute it's like all laughing, and the next minute everyone look like they're going, well, tears, and the next minute there's this, so it's literally, that's how the shows are literally a roller coaster. We don't talk, it's not a specific subject, it's individuals, and it's about us hearing, and the show's called Real Talk, that person's, for me, I like to hear not where they are now, because everyone thinks, I don't know whether you're an author or whether you're an artist, or whether you're a singer or whatever it might be, you've always been there or you've reached there. People don't just get there.
Yeah.
There's always a journey. So for myself, I've followed you. Our book, Life Inner and Out of Lockdown, have been published by Marcia Publishing House. So that's how I've heard of you.
True.
That's how I've followed you.
And vice versa.
I know. Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't know, if I'm honest with you. But that's how I know of. So I've followed you, and I know there's all sorts going on, as in like what we'll talk about that, what you're going to be doing very soon in Wolverhampton, isn't it?
Yes.
I see. I know. That's not me doing research for this. That's because I know, I see. And I'm like, So,
I heard about you before the Life in a Lockdown from Janet. And,
Janetti.
Janetti, yes. I call it, I keep saying Janetti. Janetti.
That's okay, yes.
And Marcia as well, and Pamela Arhand. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I heard your name before, and I've seen some of your shows, and I started seeing from the beginning, but then when Veronica came, I missed a few bits.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's all of the other speakers. Yeah, really good insight.
It's just real talk. There's no airs, graces, and just it is what it is. So you do know the show's called Real Talk.
Yes.
So you do know that I don't want to start where you are now. I need to peel back like an onion. I like to peel back the layers. And you're going to say like, so anyway, so when I was, and I had my son, and I'll be like, I don't think so. We're peeling back.
Yeah.
So you've got an accent. I don't know what that accent is. And we've got our listeners out there and our viewers. And I don't want you to share what you want to share, by the way. Okay, I only want you to share what you want to share, but just kind of, I don't know, where were you born, and just give us some of your history. So that way, then, when we hear where you're at now, people will understand how and what you've had to do to get where you are.
Yeah. So I am from the motherlands, Africa, Angola, Africa.
Okay.
I migrated to Portugal in '92 when the Civil War started. And then from there to here to UK in 2008 when recession started, when it hit Portugal really hard, and in UK as well. But I think Portugal, it was just terrible. So I moved here with my son, father, and I have a 11-year-old boy that just started secondary school today.
Right.
So today has
what
been
you will
a really,
find, what you will find, if you gallop, which you're doing, you're galloping. I'm like, you're talking about your son. I'm thinking like, no offense, you know, you're of an age, you didn't just reach that day. So I heard where you're born. So we don't want everything that's in your book, because otherwise people aren't going to buy your book. But we need, I need some more. I need some meat. so that we can understand. Because when people, as you know, when people kind of share, that then helps other people.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. To be
So
honest,
have
I
you
do
got?
apologize. It's just today has been a long day, and
Oh,
I'm just a little bit foggy at the moment. But yeah, but you are right. And as I was listening to the other speakers, it actually brought me back to some memories that I actually wrote in my book as well. When we were talking about suicides and trying to explain to your kids about all of that. So I am an author. I wrote the book Healing Letters, and basically, and then Veronica, when she was talking, she said about journaling and doing diaries can turn into a book. That's exactly how my book started. You know, I was doing therapy because of so much, like you said, you can't just come here and say, oh, I'm an author and I write a book and everything is fine now. No, it took me time to get here. And the reason that I wrote the book was because it was so many hurt and pain inside of me that it was there, and it was basically moving me in ways that it wasn't productive and it wasn't healthy for me. So I had to find my own ways on breaking that unhealthy cycles. And sometimes breaking unhealthy cycles starts to breaking up with family members, friends, going deep into the roots of your traumas, because we all have some sort of traumas. You might not have been from the young age. You might start when your parents separated, when you were 16, whatever. So with me, I had to go back into my roots, starting writing the diary. I'm not much into journaling, which is quite funny for an author, but I'm not. People are different. People write differently. So I always like to put that out there, because there are many people out there that don't like to journal, and for that they think they can't write a book. Yes, you can, mate. There's different ways for different people. Hi, I'm here. So I started writing when I was doing therapy, advice of my therapist. But when I started writing, it was more superficial, just talking about the things that hurt me, kind of in letters. That's why healing letters to the people that hurt me. And going back, I always said that going back, I always wanted to write a book, because it was something that I used to do a lot, was reading books growing up. And one day I had a dream about my book. It was exactly the same name. And I remember holding the book, and then I had the pages with the titles that I have, and then I have subtitles as well. By the time it was just the titles. And so I woke up and I had to make a note so I didn't forget. And then that night I was sleeping at my boyfriend's house, and I went back home early that day, because I knew that the diary that I had, it was supposed to be my book. And from there, I just had to expand into a book. And in my book, I talk about child sexual abuse. I talk about suicides. I talk about racism, colorism, postpartum depression, and relationships with family and unhealthy cycles with family, where you feel, especially me coming from the African culture, you always feel that you have to respect, that you have to accept, that you can't come out of the culture because it's disrespectful. So I had to break that cycles. I had to think about myself. I actually stayed 2 years without talking with my mom, because I needed that break from her. It didn't mean that I stopped loving her. It just mean that it came to a point where I had to say to her, I'm not a child anymore. You want my respect, you need to respect me back, because this is not helping me, is actually stopping me to be who I want to be, because all I do is trying to please you, but it's never enough, and it's never good. So I had to stop there. And so that all came into the book in terms of letters to her. And it's not just accusing, it's not just pointing fingers, because the book is about emotional freedom and liberation of the soul. It's about forgiveness. Forgiveness comes from a place of love as well. So it's about showing all of that happened, this is how I felt, this is where I am, and this is where I want to be. But I need you to understand so that we can move past that. It's not expecting them to come and accept my forgiveness. It's just to say that I had enough. My bag was full of stones. I couldn't move past a certain point. So I had to start taking these little stones that I call traumas out of my bag, working on them, on the healing, so that my bag, let's suppose I was carrying a bag full of weight, so that my bag starts coming like a small hole was done in there, small stones were staying behind. And so I was able to start moving like one step at a time, one step at a time. And eventually I was able to just walk. And now some days I'm running, some days I'm stopping because I'm still feel drained. I'm only human. Some days I'm still walking again. Some days I'm running again because it's life. It's the cycle of life, But now I'm able to move. But it came to a point, I think was when I was 37. That's when I entered in therapy. And it all came to me because I was in an abusive relationship, emotional relationship with a narcissistic person. And I think it just came, it woke on me that child that was hurt inside, that I work very well to hide it, to keep it quiet. But the way he abused me emotionally brought me back to that child, to the time where I had no one to defend me, and I had to fight for my own rights. From the moment that I was bullied in school because I was the only Black person at school when I moved to Portugal, from when I was abused at a young age, from when I used to feel like I was an alien in my own family, So it brought me back to that point because until then I thought I was a strong Black woman, that could do it all and no one could mess with me. Any little thing you said to me, the attitude will come. I was ready to come with the fight, who you talking to. And then I had to recognize that was just a facade. And
Yeah.
I learned that from therapy. And from that, I had to just strip myself from all of that and just put a new dresses, like, I'm a human being. I'm allowed to cry. I'm allowed to ask for help. I'm allowed to say I can't do it anymore. I'm allowed to say, today I just want to stay in bed and rest. Today I just want peace and quiet. And still feel strong. Some days I'm strong, some days I'm not, but it was nice to be able to be vulnerable, something that I felt from many years I wasn't allowed to be, because if I was going to be, people would still take advantage of me. And from the moment I learned to defend myself from a young age, I swear to myself no one was going to step on me anymore. And so you put in so many facades that some eventually forget who you are, or it's not even forget, you don't even live as you are supposed to live, and you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So I had to through writing this book, to do in therapy. It was a process. It still is a process. There's still times, if you talk to my boyfriend, just last week I had a meltdown because I was exhausted. I was just tired. But when you come to the school holidays, the routine come out of the way. You're still working. You can't take I don't work in a school. I can't take the whole summer holidays off. So for me, it's a time that it's more exhausting. So I was just, and then that thinking of you work, but it's just paying bills. And when you want to go on holidays, you can't even afford it sometimes because many things happen this year. And I just could, So I woke up one morning and I was just feeling so tired. I didn't want to go to work, but I already missed work before, and I'm on probation. I can't be missing too many days of work. So I just sat in bed and I started crying. And this was just last week, and I just couldn't. So I ended up taking one day early holidays, and my boyfriend kindly he paid for me to go 3 days to the countryside, just me, myself, and I. And that was, oh gosh, it was heaven, But
It was needed.
there was a time in the past, if a man will try to do that for me, I'll be like, I'm just crying. I don't. First of all, he wouldn't see me cry. Second of all, even that I would vent out with him.
Mm.
If he would try to do something nice like that, I would refuse. because who do you think I am? Do you think I can't handle my own things, you know? And now it just coming to it, when I was there in the countryside thinking, and he was texting me to know if I was okay. It came to my mind, like, even now I'm able to accept that kind of help because, you know, you're vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable, you know, and I learned all of that, like, again, through therapy, to writing the book, to being a motivational speaker to other women, to listening to them when they come to me and saying, thank you so much, because it is exhausting, you know, this title of the strong Black woman. At every talk that I have now, I always say that if people get tired of listening, that's your problem. Maybe you are in the wrong shot, you know. But every talk, because that for me, that title put me in a mental prison.
Yeah.
So I'm there talking to my sisters, just to tell you, even to the white women's, you know, I just want you to, when they say, oh, you are a strong woman, we can be strong sometimes, but you don't have to be all the time. For me, the strong black woman title, it put me in the mental prison, because it was like, how can I go to my friend and say that
Tell
I'm
them.
tired? How can I go to my friend and say that this man that they see on my side, that they think, oh, now she has a good man, is abusing me mentally, you know? How can I go to my friend and say that this nightmare that I've been hiding for so long, which was being abused as a child, has been haunting me lately? It was in the back of my memory, and then all of a sudden, when you don't deal with your traumas, all of a sudden they just appear. You know, you just start having dreams because one thing take to another. You know, you having a problem with your boyfriend about being emotional abuse, and then all of a sudden you dreaming about the time that you were abused, because it's starting to get connected, because the diffuses in your brain, they're just starting to get little fires eventually. Just, and sometimes, you know, when you're talking about suicide, I did attempt it twice when I was young. One, because I was being bullied at school when I was the only Black girl, and I just had enough of it. And, you know, but then a voice in my head told me not to, and I got so scared that I went to sleep and cried, and I cried until I fell asleep. And then later in the years, when I think I was around my 20s, you know, again, for the same reasons, I just couldn't anymore. And now I have the knowledge. So, and I used to keep everything on the inside. I wouldn't talk to anyone. So last week I sat down in the bed and I cried, and I spoke what was, I didn't even know. I was just saying, I don't know, I'm just tired, I'm exhausted. It's not even physical, emotional. I actually even put a post on my page. My soul is tired. When you can't even explain what is it, people look at you, but you have a nice job, you have a nice house, you have a nice boyfriend, your son is happy. But I'm tired. I'm just tired. I don't know how to explain. So I said my soul is tired. But and then the thing is, because you are a writer, people see you as a philosopher. When you're talking like that, you're just trying to talk pretty. No, it is serious. It is serious. So all the conversations today hit home. And I think it's very important that, and I appreciate platforms like this, talking and bringing people with knowledge and experience to talk about things, because for me, it's always better to listen from people with real life experience than just textbooks. It's nice to have the theory and having doctors coming and explaining things that sometimes we might not understand. But when you have other people coming and saying things, they will say, even there is just one word, they'll say, yeah, I do feel the same. So it's not only me. So, okay, so you feel validated and you feel like you're not going crazy. Because most of the times you feel like you're going crazy. Maybe you're being ungrateful. And I'm always very careful not to be ungrateful with anyone, or even with myself, with my blessings. But then if I'm always feeling like everything that I'm feeling inside of me, I can't feel it, or I can't say it because I'm being grateful to God, to my friends, to my family, to whoever, you know, that sometimes puts you in a place where you feel like you're not allowed to feel what you're feeling. And that's wrong. So it's important to say it. I don't know. Is that okay? I think I just divagated a little bit. I don't know.
You really don't understand. Literally, I know I'm in my house, but Shelley, the producer who you jump on, she loves jumping on, really.
Yeah,
Jump on
of
the show
course.
for a
Yeah.
minute. Listen, when I say I feel like I'm in somewhere where you're going to be soon, that I'll get you to talk about in a bit. I
Yeah.
literally feel that you cannot hear a pin drop. That's how you literally, you have this, I don't know, I know your name's Aurea, but this kind of presence that literally,
To be
and
honest, I don't even know.
you've just scratched. That's why I said, Shell, didn't I say I've got kind of like, I'm bracing myself because what's coming next? Shell's like, what's that then? And I'm thinking it's Aurea. And she hasn't said anything. No offense, she hasn't really said anything.
No, I don't
You
know.
didn't
No, I
want to
don't mean
say
it like
you wanted
that.
to write
I
a
don't mean it
book.
like that. I just mean as in like, I don't know if I even was at your book. Did you do an online book launch?
No, I'm old school. I didn't
Yeah,
want
because I
that.
know you've done
I
a
did,
physical, but you must
yeah,
have
I
done
did in
one last year.
Wolverhampton last year
Yeah.
in October. Well, because October is my month, is my a birthday month, and is my father's birthday month. So October is a big month for me. It was last year, and it's going to be this year as well because I'm going to be on TEDx in October as
Did you
well.
hear that, Shell? TEDx, TEDx.
Just drop that in the conversation.
You know what?
I saw. I'm watching and I'm following, and I saw you at the weekend, and it's like you're just walking up and down. You're going like, just practicing and just kind of getting my. Yeah, I follow you. When I say follow, I mean proper. Yeah.
That's
So
what I'm gonna be doing after I'll jump out of this conversation, going to my room and read my papers because I need to nail that speech. And it's basically a little bit of like all of that I spoke here, but in more detail so people can understand that journeys are important because my title is Children of Today Are the Adults of Tomorrow. You know, and the what we pass to our kids and how can affect the future. And it's important for us if we complain so much about the future, but who's raising these children? Who raised us? You know, we complain and we see the mistakes our parents did with us. Mistakes, sometimes I don't even call it that. They talking about my mom, love my mom to death. She raised me the way she knew. She didn't know any better. But now, today, as with so much information, what excuse do we have? It's very easy to point the fingers by you doing anything to change the narrative. So that will be more or less my
what
talk.
date is
But
this? What
listen,
date?
I don't even know how did I, you know, when you want to do something and you're just like, oh, I'll apply. And then when they say like you are there and you think, oh my God, what have I done?
I was just going to say to you.
Oh
I mean,
my gosh.
we know Jasmine. We know somebody who's actually. I don't know if Vinette has done one, but I know somebody who has actually done one, and I don't know the process. Not that I'm doing one, trust me. What is the process?
You have to apply, you know, when they open you have to apply, and you have to depending on the title of the year. This year is signal mirror maneuver, so you have to think on things that you can write. For me, I always like to, because whatever speech, I'm a motivational speaker. So whatever things I'm going to talk about is about my own experience, based on my experience. I try to put a bit of research and always bring it back to my book, because of course you want people to buy your book. You are an author, you know that. And so for me, I always want to talk about the importance of the way the children, the way our life as adults impact our children or the children around you that you mentor, tutor, whatever. Even teachers. I know I have friends that don't have children, but they teach, you know. And so you impact. I don't remember the name of the teacher that changed my life because it was years ago, but I never forgot her face. If I see her on the street, I remember her. But funnily enough, I don't remember her name. But she changed my life. She held me in a time where I didn't know what was love. No one was holding me, giving me affection, you know. So for me, that idea came into my head. And then I saw on Facebook TEDx Wolverhampton. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So then I put the date on my calendar that the opening for you to send the application but you actually have to do an application and write what you want to do. There's some questions there that you have to answer. And I put in there and I left it. Then I think after 1 or 2 months, I wake up 7 in the morning, I see an email. And first I was all happy, telling just personally my close friends and family, because you can't say until they put on social media. You can't tell, you put on your page. And then when we went to the first meeting, they were there talking what the do's, the don'ts. And I was like, what am I doing here? You know, the imposter syndrome. I was like, Aurea, what are you doing here? So it's not a joke. It's really, you know, it's a serious thing to apply. I think it's a platform for me at the moment. It's like going to the next level.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my best to nail this speech. I have 6 pages. I'm on page 4 now, memorizing, and then, you know, practicing rehearsals and everything. But I'm excited, of course, but it is scary, but good scary, and hopefully open more doors. Because I always wanted to be a motivational speaker, actually lately more than an author, but I realized that this book opened the doors to where I want to be right now. So I'm just grateful. You know, some days are better than others, but I'm just grateful, and I want to believe that if I was chosen, there's a reason. And I always think maybe when I'm choosing for something, to be in that space,
yes,
I always think even that the rest of the public doesn't understand or thinks, what is this girl doing here? I always think if there's one person in that public that is going through something and is going to hear something that I'm going to say and is going to change their life,
yeah,
that's worth
right.
it. Maybe that's why God put me there, and I just have to take a benefit of that, you know. So yeah, I'm grateful for that.
So what date in Wolverhampton? Who knows? We might have to, Simply Deez may have to do a road trip. What date?
Yeah, you should. I have some people from London that you know coming.
Pamela?
It's on the 1st of October. But the tickets are flying quite fast, you know.
I'm going to be in Birmingham. I'm supposed to be in Birmingham on that day.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, but it's the whole day, because it's lots of it's 12 speakers, and then we have some people coming and performing as well, and then there's kind of a meeting greeting and questions and answers in the end with the speakers on stage. It starts at 10, it finishes at 4. It's going to be so far, you know, from what I heard the years before, apart from when it was COVID, it was online. It was quite good, but they're trying to what they're trying to do as well is do the online tickets. So if they do it, I'll try to put on my pages, because I have people that won't be able to come. So I think it's actually a good idea, because, you know, just because it's in Wolverhampton doesn't mean people outside of Wolverhampton can watch it.
Don't want to. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's huge. It is huge. And you know what it is? You know, when I told Pamela, our hand, she actually, after one day, because she was so excited, and I was excited as well, but I tried to minimize my excitement so it doesn't get me anxious, because I get very anxious, so I tried to minimize. And so she was talking to me, and I was like, yeah. And so I think the next day, she said,
that's when it hit you.
Yeah, no, she was like, Aurea, do you know what is TEDx? And I said, I know. Do you know the amazing thing that you just done and is happening to you? And I was like, yeah. And she said, I think. And then another friend of mine as well, even my boyfriend, was like, you know, you're going to be a TEDx. And I said, yeah. It doesn't look like. No, I know.
Because you've got a kind of.
I'm trying. But as the days are passing, like next week, we're starting the rehearsals like face to face. I'm starting to feel, and I'm trying to keep more away from people. For example, I come home from work, I'm tired, I go straight to I eat, I go straight to my room, because I'm trying to keep
Just
my
get yourself
energy
in
for
there.
myself, because I need space, I need quietness. When I have big things coming, I don't know if he's an author singer, I don't know what other authors, but I need the quietness, otherwise I can't function. And for me, especially when he's the motivational speaker, and even today I came for work, went to pick my son at school, came for work, and I went for a nap because I was really tired, because I knew I was going to be in your platform. And I always like to give the best of me. Like I said, if there's one person listening that is going to impact their life, whatever I'm going to say. So I need to be on my best. If I'm tired, and you saw in the beginning, I was a bit foggy. And I was just like, I was trying to gather my thoughts, and then you brought me back. So I do appreciate you saying that. And that's what makes a good host. You know, you brought me back, because I was looking at the camera, but my mind was around the room. So thank you for that. So yeah, I'm trying to be not going out, just when every time I had time to be alone, because it is, I need to deliver.
Been in, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely, you know, when you're kind of like just, yeah, we're even if we don't physically make it, we are there just honestly.
No, I do appreciate the energy, all the energy, you know, because I believe in energy.
Yes.
You know, so I do appreciate all the energy coming my way, because it makes me feel like, yeah, you have people supporting you. You go on that stage and you do your thing, girl. So thank you. I do appreciate
I tell
that.
you what, I saw you, by the way, I can't remember what color it is, what you wore for your launch. And I was like, ouch.
White.
Ouch.
It's my colors,
Ouch.
the colors of my book: white, gold, and rose gold. First of
That's
all,
right.
my name means gold, Aurea. It comes from the old Latin, aurum,
Okay.
so it means gold. So, and white for me, my house, it's mainly white, and then I play with things like from paintings from African things, you know, because white for me means peace. So yeah, white is always going. Even when I die, I keep saying to my mom, she's so funny. I said to my mom, when I die, don't allow anyone to come white in my funeral. And she was like, oh, but why do I have to be in your funeral? Why are you about you being in my funeral? Even in the funerals we're arguing about. And then she said, on my funeral, I don't want anyone who was in black as well. I want everybody in white. So because white is peace. Yeah.
Shell. What do you want to say, Shell? I don't know if you saw the sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it's like Trisha just put in there, that sort of like loving your voice.
Oh, thank you.
As soon as you actually said that you wanted to be a motivational speaker, you can really see it. You can really see it.
Yeah.
And
I
as
did
you
like
say,
what you said in the beginning about, you know, when you're talking about suicide, you know, I could understand both perspectives, but I had the same situations where I think it's important to talk about, especially with this generation with so much online, everything online, you know. But at the same way, I actually had a situation where I was called at school just because you just use the word in a sentence, which for me made sense because in my house our conversations are very open. But in the school it was like a drama, and then he was just scared that he was in trouble for openly speaking, because that's what is used at home to speak about it. And like I said, I think it's important to have these conversations. Yeah, and I was here. I actually forgot I had to come on the show. I was taking notes because sometimes, you know, when I go do my talks, it's important. You know, I can always use some of the things Shelley was talking about. So yeah, thank you for that. I came to speak, but I learned a lot tonight. So thank you.
That's good, thank you.
It's like literally gold.
That's my name.
Shell knows I ain't saying something for the sake of saying something. That's how I feel. It's just pure, utter gold. Golden. Seriously, golden. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't got the book. I don't know. I don't think we had that book in the hub.
Oh, I can send you a copy. It's not a problem.
I don't think. But no, I'll link up with you, and I will be purchasing, and I'd like a signed copy
Yeah, I'll send you. Don't worry, I can send you a signed copy. Not a
No, I'm
problem.
purchasing. No. So otherwise, I'm not.
I do have yours
Otherwise, I don't
at
want
my
to.
house. I think it's yeah. I haven't read it yet because I bought it from Janetti.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
I think it was from Janetti, yeah, because she's in the book and she's like my mama. So of course I had to have the book.
Oh my gosh. And I do believe, don't get me wrong, because you will be coming back, by the way. After you've done, let's get you back. It would be really great to, hear and all the rest that goes with that. But is your son an author too?
He is. My son is an author too.
See, I thought I hadn't imagined that. I told you I thought you. I'm lying. Yeah,
he
he's
wrote
an
a
author
book
too,
on
right?
the mental health. Sorry.
Wow. And he's only, so how old was he when he wrote the book?
I think he was, he wrote during lockdown. So he was around 8.
Wow.
Yeah, until he got published. He just went published last year. September 2021. So mine came in February. His came on in September, or both in the same year. Yes. Yeah.
Are you making notes, Shell? Because I'm making notes up here.
Something,
I'm already like our event. We've got so many things. Unfortunately for you, my dear, unless you've been watching the show and you know about us, you'll know that, oh my gosh, you're going to try and shake us off and we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
No. To be honest, I wanted to come on your show for a long time, but because I've been trying to, I think since May, this is my first interview since May, because since May I actually needed to take a break. So yeah, this is my coming back.
We are honored.
and many people actually recommended me, and I had your name in my list of people to contact. So it was actually nice that I had you in my mind, your show, both of your show, and in my mind, and you were the one contacting me. But it actually made me feel like a VIP.
That's because you are.
Thank you. Because normally I have to be contacting people and chasing and talking about me, and then you contacting me. I felt all VIP. I was sitting in my chair. Mm-hmm.
Yes, like, sister. Man. Give me that.
Yeah. I was like, finally, yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yes, it's my coming back. It was like I went on a break and then my coming back, boom.
Sometimes that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we will just keep going. We've got this thing as women, and guys do it too, but women, we just keep going. But when you recognize something, which is what you shared today, you recognize something, it's a case of you realize, because it's like being on a treadmill or one of those hamster wheels, and you're like, do you know what? I need to come off.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, then you get back on. Mm-hmm. But when you're ready.
Yeah. Because as you know, as a self-published author, it is hard. And I felt since the book came out last year, it has been one thing out of the other, after the other. And like I said before, not being ungrateful, I've done really well as a self-published author, coming through Marcia and Publishing House, of course. But it came to a point where you want your book to be successful. But for me, it was never about the money. It was about the message. So it came to a point where it was getting too much in my head. And I just had to stop and say, you know what? This is a legacy. It's not going to go anywhere. So if I take a break for a year and I come back, the book is still going to be there. So why I'm here stressing myself on top of working full time, on top of having to raise this child in the best way that I can and know, on top of being in a relationship with someone, on top of wanting to live my life while I'm still alive, and so I just had to give her a break. And then in the meantime, that happened. And I said, you see, even when you're quiet, things happen. So what it's yours is yours. You don't really, sometimes you have to, of course, you have to work hard for your dreams. That's true, but at the same time, most of the times, at the same time, you have to have that belief that what is yours, it's yours. Not every time you have to knock on some doors. Sometimes it's just having that desire, making the connections, and be helpful. One thing I have that other authors from the Marcian Publishing House or even out of her publishing house know about me. I'm all about collaborations. I don't understand these women competing against women. For me, that's pathetic and it's exhausting. What is mine is mine. What is yours is yours. Your book is different from mine, even that it's about talking about traumas and abuse and whatever. It's your story. Your story, it's not mine. So why wouldn't I try to help you? Why wouldn't we want to do a collaboration together? Why wouldn't, if you're doing something, why wouldn't I share on my page? You know what I mean? So I believe I believe in karma. If you do well, it's coming to you. So I don't have to be there like in a treadmill, like you said, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Sometimes you just have to pause, and I really had to pause. My head was all over the place. I couldn't anymore. I couldn't. It was really doing a number on me. So I'm glad that I took that break. Yeah.
We're glad that you took that break, because otherwise then you might have said no to me. I'd have been like, Shell, do you know what?
To be honest, yeah.
She blew me out.
To be honest, I probably would have made some kind of excuse and then contact you later when I felt like capable, and come to you and say, would you mind now, please? Because it happened before for other reasons.
That door's open. That door is open. Anytime.
So thank you. Yeah, it was the right timing. You felt it.
It was.
You know?
I don't know. You know what? Because I have followed and I've seen things that you do and what have you, and I don't know what drew me to you, as in like for the show. I don't know what it was. I don't know. But
it was meant to be. It was meant to be. You know, it was meant to be. Maybe it was me, because the other day, funnily enough, because I believe in these things. I told you about my book that I had a dream, and even if you read my book, there is times in my life where through dreams I wake up in the next morning, I know exactly what to do because of feelings like thinking about something, and then the idea comes in my head and I just have to act on it in the best way that I know and I should. But last week I was actually thinking, well, after TEDx, I need to start concentrating about doing more interviews, to put the book out there again, starting working on doing more speeches here and there. And then there you come out of the blue. Hi, Aurea. So maybe it was me, you know, the universe.
Yeah, definitely doing that. And then I knew that you were doing the TEDx, and I thought it would be really great to get you on and just hear more, learn more. Messages are coming through. And what happens when we do a show, obviously you've got people that are watching live, and then throughout the week, and then you get to the weekend, and then people have shared and the viewing figures go up, and then people are commenting, and we get quite a bit of feedback and stuff. So I know we're going to get quite a bit of feedback about you. Maybe feedback about us, do they, Shell?
Yeah. No, I'm sure there was the speakers before they were brilliant. So I'm sure. That was a really good show, actually. Yeah.
It's kind of like what Shelley and I will do will be like, OMG, we'll catch up tomorrow.
Yeah.
What we've done before.
You both complement each other so well. You know. Yeah. Well done. Keep the good work.
We will do. So before we let you go, what can you just share? I mean, we've got your details, all that information, that's all already there. So I don't want you to kind of like give us your Instagram, you know, that sort of stuff. But what information or what can you share, key thing can you share with those? There's various forms of trauma that are out there. So I'm not picking on a specific one, but just what can you share, or something from your book that would just kind of may just be the thing that somebody that's may not be able to get the book, may not have heard everything, but there's just something that you're going to leave us with that potentially could be the nugget to unlock something.
Oh, that's difficult because it's so many things in there. For me, because of so many things that I wrote in the book, I just, you know, it sounds like a cliche, but sometimes things becomes like a snowball. And my first chapter starts exactly like when you say it starts from the beginning. It started from the beginning, which was the child sexual abuse. I didn't share that with my mom until a couple of months before the book came out. And I think that was the root of everything. Because one of the persons, because now I have my son now as well, one of the persons that I love the most in my life, and he was supposed to be there to protect me, love, and give me all of that affection, have been the first person that that a child should go, the parents, mom, dad, whoever is raising them, and share that. And the fact that that wasn't there, I didn't do that. That's in the back of my mind. I was like a child. That child inside of me wasn't nurtured, and it was lost. And it's all about healing the child within yourself. You need to heal that child. If that child is there still, my child was inside of the box. And actually, the first chapter of my book, there's a part in the end where I have to go, and I learned that in therapy, where you go and you talk with yourself as a young child. What would you do to that child? What would you say to that child? And I had to go back and apologize to her because I left her behind. And so many times she wanted to come out and scream and cry and be holded and be loved. And I was, shh, keep quiet. Can't come out of that box. It's dangerous. Can you see the picture in your head? And so you grow empty. You grow in defense mode. You grow as nothing. So you sink. And when you grow as nothing and you grow in the belief that the world is against you and you have to fight every single battle, it's exhausting, it's sad, and it's many tears hidden in the back of your eyes, for so many years. And eventually you just scramble down because one thing happened that it might not even be related to none of that. And then you just scramble down, and some people, unfortunately, going back to the conversation that happened in the beginning of this show, they don't see a way out, and they don't feel the need of being here, or they just feel tired of being here, and that's how things happen. It's how sometimes, I'm not saying that's always the root of suicides, but from my experience, from what I lived, that was always the root of the times I attempted suicide. That's what I have to say. And for that, you have other things in the book. I talk about my relationship that even affected my relationship with my son, that until he was 3 years old, it is the last chapter of my book where I apologize to him. He has nothing, I don't need his forgiveness because he's only a child, but I needed to apologize to him because I didn't connect it to him due to all of that unhealthy cycles growing up. And I learned, I had to learn to love myself because I had no love for myself. And when you have no love, you don't know how to give love. And I had to learn to be a mother because for me, I was feeding him, I was giving him a safe home. Due to my experience, I was very overprotective, which is you should protect your children, but you shouldn't be overprotective because it damaged them in a way as well. And I had to learn many things. I even had to break that cultural thing, cycles, that you have, because I love my culture. Don't come talking about my culture, there's things I love it, I respect it. We still keep some traditions, but you also have to be careful with that because it can be a prison, So all of that starting from the beginning helped me open my eyes because you start working on the roots and you start growing as a tree or a plant or whatever, and you start seeing that there's the reason why you can't have a leaf over there is because you haven't really healed, maybe because of some parasites that are attacking the plant. You know, I have plants around my house, so I'm trying to be a little bit philosophic right now. And so you have to nurture that plant. You need to take care of her, and even that it takes a year for her to grow, when she eventually does, because she's healed, is going to be beautiful. And my over there, you know, she was dying and now she's giving me 3 beautiful flowers. So it's basically like that. So I hope that draws you to my book, because it is raw. I haven't hide anything, because I felt that if I was going to write about healing letters and what was the root for me to write this book, I needed to go deep and explain to people that whatever happened to you, it's enough of feeling shame. It wasn't your fault, and maybe it needed to happen to you. Was it nice? It wasn't. It wasn't pleasant. But you know what? Would I be this person that I am now if I hadn't gone through all of that? No. But at the same time, keep taking care of yourself, keep healing, keep going to therapies, keep doing whatever is good for you, because it is a process. I'm not going to say that I've forgotten. Some days when something happen, or when I hear things like in the beginning, it gives me, takes me back. But now I have the tools which I learned in therapy, that I don't stay there. Before I used to go and stay in those places in the past where my trauma was for weeks, months, maybe a year. But now I go, I might stay there for a minute, 2, an hour, 2 days, but I know how to come back. I keep reminding me, you need to come to the present. You are in the present. You are safe now. This is the past. You are in the present, and that's, you know, you need to find tools, and you need to learn the tools. And sometimes you won't learn that from the people that you love. You need to go look for help, professional help. Because I tried for many times with good friends talk about it, but it's not fair on them. Because if they don't know how to help you, I'm sure if, for example, if I'm friends with Shelly and I go to her and have this kind of conversations, I notice that she has the tools and what to say to help me. But if it's a friend of yours that she's not aware, is going to put you in a situation, that awkward situation, that they don't know what to do, worry them sometimes to the point that then they start checking too much on you and start annoying you or cause you more stress, you know, and then make you to maybe, oh, I shouldn't have said anything, and then you tend to go on your space and don't want to talk with that person, and make the other person even more stressed and worried. So sometimes it's just best to look for a professional, because you need to know who you trust your traumas and problems, and if they are suitable to help you. And if they not, I went to therapy in silence. I didn't say to anyone until I discharged myself from there. So it is what it is.
Sometimes you won't divulge everything if you speak to someone that you know quite well, which is why that's going to, even just like a friend of a friend, to actually have that first conversation can help. Or a stranger will find out more from you than your best friend will, because of that, because you don't want to share so much. And the whole thing with sort of like World Suicide Prevention Day, they all kind of like have themes and things. And this year is just trying to say that there is hope, and trying to make everyone aware that everyone can have a small bit of training to be able to deal with those kind of conversations, because it is difficult. The human brain, the human psyche will always be that when you have a conversation, you're only listening enough to reply, when what you actually really need to be doing is listening, and listening more to understand. Because all that person wants to do is to carry on with their conversation and trying to work out what's kind of going on. But the human psyche is that I'm only listening to a conversation to be able to repeat something back to you or to ask you another question. And it's a difficult thing to unlearn or relearn kind of thing when you're in that kind of situation. And it is really easy to have a conversation with someone and say that you're trying to fix it. Like as a friend, they'd be coming to you and you'll be saying, how can I fix you? And it's like, no, that's not going to work. Which is why I always say that I won't pull you out. I won't push you into anything, but I will stand next to you and help you, or I'll sit next to you and help you. It's helping you find the ways to help yourself. Because if someone tells you you've got to go to this training, you've got to go to this particular specialist, you've got to go and have talking therapies, because you get told to do it and you go to do it because you're told to do it, you're not going to pick up anything from it. So you're automatically going to have that wall up. And it's another, it's like for anyone that then goes through like drug therapies, drink therapies, you got told you've got to go in and you've got to detox. Quite often it doesn't work because they're not ready to detox themselves. They're only going in because they were pressurized to, they got told they had to. Oh my God, my parents are going to disown me because I haven't done this. They get into it, and because their mind's not in it, the rest of their body's not in it, then there's no willing to stay there. And it's the same with talking therapies and trying to go through that. And as I said, when you were saying about you don't have the energy to try and explain to someone, I get people come up to me and say, well, why didn't you tell me you was having a problem? It's like, I can't even work out what's going on myself. I have not got the energy to try to explain it to you.
Exactly. And
There's
another thing is as well.
Say, having a bad day, and they'll go, if you want something, let me know, or I'll just come in and sit next to you. And it's just, I mean, me and my best mate will just sit here, watch telly and be quiet. Either we're having a bad day and it's just, right, okay, you're here and that's it. I don't need anything else. It's just, just being.
I love that. I love that because you know what it is when I'm saying that I love silence. People are awkward with silence. And so they always try to fill the silence, and I get so annoyed. I just love that. I can sit with you for hours in silence. I had a friend that we used to do that in my house when growing up, and my mom used to go mental. Your friend come here, you don't even have a conversation with her. And we were cool. We were so cool. That was the time that there was no mobile phones. My son can't comprehend when I said that. When I said the times that there was no mobile phone, I said, so how did you have so many good friends? Listen, that was the real friendship. We would sit there and just watch TV, and it was still friends till now. You know, we call each other, our kids calling aunties. You know what I mean? It was and so even last week when I was having a meltdown, you know, I had people saying to me, and then it's like, oh, but you think you are the only one. That is even worse. You know, I know I'm not the only one, but can you feel my pain? You can't. Only I can resolve my own problems. You know what I mean? Oh, it's life. I know it's life. You don't need, you know, it's kind of patronizing, which makes you feel worse. And I think that's why I broke into tears, because I felt even good friends of mine like, it's normal, it's life, it's work, it's this, it's that. And then I was supposed to go see a friend of mine, but I decided not to go. And people were saying to me, I was throwing a tantrum. But for me, I felt I love to see her. I love to go down there because it's a nice area where she lives. It's near to the sea. I love the sea, but I've been doing that a lot this year. And I wanted something different. And I felt going there, I would have a good time for sure, because we always have a good time together. She's my friend for years. But it was going to be a distraction, and I needed to sit myself and my demons in my head and work that out. And because I've been in this place before and I know what is happening, I might not know what all this exhausting, like I don't know how to explain exactly, but I needed to sit down because I haven't had the time to sit on my own and in silence and talk to myself. You know, when inside of your head is so many voices, and you can't hear your own voice. But when you try to explain that to people, they don't understand. So I just needed to sit in a place, even that it was only just for one day, just me, myself, and I. And that's exactly what I did. For 3 days, I would only talk with the staff at the hotel, practice my rehearsals for TEDx, but I wasn't talking to anyone. And by the end of the third day, I think, I could hear, like, I was in the bath and I had a thought, and it was my voice, and I start dancing in the shower because I heard my voice in my head. It sounds crazy, but it's but you try to explain that I call to normal people,
Yeah.
they just think, now she's getting crazy. And I'm thinking, no, now I'm sane.
Yeah.
But they don't get it. So and then you just see, what's the point of explaining? You don't get it. And and it makes you feel worse, so yeah, it is a lot.
And you do get those as well that don't understand how the little thing could be the thing that will set you off.
Exactly.
And for sometimes they'll reflect what their thoughts are, sort of, but that's only small. But they don't mean it. But for what your first thing that you think is, you have no idea what's going on I mean, for one person, that could be the world. I mean, if you go back to the childhood thing, a toddler will go absolutely berserk because they've dropped a toy or they've dropped their lollipop, because to them that is crisis. That is what on earth. I can't carry on. I just cannot carry on.
Yeah.
And those things get bigger and bigger and bigger as you get older. But your perception of someone else's problem, where they've lost the plot about something, your perception could be, oh, I've got 10 times more worse things than that.
Yeah.
But to understand, to that person at that moment, that is the thing that's bugging them, and that's the thing that's causing an issue.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened last week. And so it came to a point I just stopped talking with everyone because I got exhausted. People, that's life. Oh, why don't you want to go and visit your friend? It will be good. And I was just saying, no, it's going to be a distraction, and I will come back with the same thing in my head.
Probably, yeah.
So no, and then it's just the drama queen. And I'm thinking, I'm not even a drama queen, but at that point, it felt like people were seeing me like that. And I said, you know what?
You just have to leave people.
You just have to leave. Yeah, do you, boo boo?
Oh, we absolutely love you.
Thank you so much. I felt this is like a therapy session.
Well, you have quite a few people that do say that, yeah.
Oh my God, I was feeling so tired. I'm so awake now. That's good, because I have to practice to TEDx. I had to go read some papers. I feel so light. Thank you. This was a really good free therapy session. Thank you. I appreciate.
The charge, the invoice.
Yeah, you're going to learn in the post.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing. The connection went bad now. It's going really bad. I will have to disconnect now. Sorry.
It's got a bit fuzzy. You're dipping in and out. Don't understand you, Dee.
Yeah, don't speak English. Yeah.
I'm going to say speechless. I'm kind of like, I saved you to last. I know I kind of pushed. You're probably thinking, like, why is she pushing me back? Because I wanted you to be last. I wanted to have a really good, what we've had. You, without a doubt, you'll be back. Without a doubt, I'm going like International Women's Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
We do one every year. So I'm like, yep, we want her. But yes. I'm going to let you go because my niece Tishi's messaged me, are you going to read my post? And I'm like going like, oh my God. I forgot, I remembered.
I can't see the message. Yeah, I was seeing before, but not now.
Yeah, because my niece, she sent me an email, so I've just got to read her post. She's got cerebral palsy, so she wouldn't be able to read it herself.
Oh,
So she's
okay.
very much part of Simply Deez. And you probably, maybe when we've done different things and what have you, seen her around and supports us. So she always does it, her update. So listen in for this bit. I'm literally, it won't take me a minute, but I'm going to read that. I'm going to have to say a humongous, Shelley and I, on behalf of Real Talk is Simply Deez. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, ladies.
We'll
You
be in
guys are
touch,
fantastic.
and obviously give us the details, because you just never know who may be in that audience on the 1st of October. I'm not going to forget that date. It's only a few weeks away, and we'll let you do what you've got to do. Shell, before we let Aurea go, do you want to say, yeah, I know Kem, you'd absolutely love Kem.
Yeah,
We're
so
going to do
it's, thank you,
connection.
Cam.
We're going to have you down in Luton. That's without a doubt. You guys know that. The next minute it'll be like, she's in Luton. She's in Luton. She's in Luton. She's in Luton.
That will be an honor.
So thank you for sharing, not just, you know, obviously about your book, but just for being you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what you know. It took me 37 years, so that no one can take away from me anymore. You know, so I like when people say that to me. Actually, it makes me feel
More
complete.
than enough. Yeah, you are. Seriously, you're going to make me cry now. So
even I am starting to tear up, because you know, it's when you can't be yourself, it's sad. So that you saying that in the end, it actually made, you know, it was perfect, because I do love when people say that to me, because it took me years to know who was Aurea Reis. So thank you.
Thank you. We will be in touch. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Listen in, because I've got to read Tishi's section now. So for those people, you're right, Shell, but you're right. I ain't all right. Oh God. Yeah, Tisha's messaged me. You can read, I've got to go to bed in a minute, and she may be in bed now.
Yeah, to get care of soon.
So let me just write. So Real Talk is Simply Deez. This is Tishi's update, everybody. So hello, everyone. Since the last show, life's been good. I went to Whipsnade Zoo with my dad and Nanny a few weeks ago. It was a good day, even though some of the animals were hiding indoors. And we're going to Woburn Zoo next Thursday, and I can't wait. I have done something that I've wanted to do for years, and that is I have my first tattoo. Ooh, which represents my love for music. And I got it done on the 28th of August by Adam Carrick at Far Beyond Tattoo Studio. And yes, I want more. Karen came on Saturday afternoon to do my hair, my food shopping. We catched up too. I'm still enjoying my 2 workout sessions with Sasha. He is always pushing me. I'm really looking forward to seeing my Nana on Thursday, which is this week. We always have a fantastic day together. I swear she just keeps that on there, but I do think she means it. I'm still looking for love. So if anyone knows of any free and decent, do you hear the word? Decent dating apps, please message me. So until the next time, stay safe and blessed, and keep following your dreams, no matter what.
She finally told everyone that she's had it done. What do you think about it, Auntie D?
She only showed me, I think it was either Sunday or Monday, and it's beautiful. It's a love heart, and it's like is it a treble clef?
Treble clef music.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah. And without sort of thing, the young girl is mid-30s. You can do whatever you want. So I'm looking out for the next 2 and where they're actually going to be, Tishi.
That was the first thing I asked her, because she told me she was having it done, and then I was like, where's he going?
Yes. So Shell, because it's now the hours of 8 minutes past 10.
Yes.
I'm not even taking off my seatbelt, for real. I'm going to sleep with it on. Oh my giddy aunt. I'll be watching this back tomorrow. How we got 7 people watching now. I don't know. Greetings, everybody. Greetings. If you're just joining us now, or if you have been and you've been watching, that's what we've got the page for. We want you to comment. If you've not seen it from the beginning, take your time, watch it. We've been live on Facebook, Pam Tango and Simply Deez Events, and we're also on YouTube as well. Do us a favour. I think we've got something like about 46 subscribers. 46. Come on now. That's poor. So whoever you are, we've got guests on the show, guests that come on. That should be part of the T's and C's, actually. Sign up to our YouTube page, and then you can be sharing that with everyone. Certainly sign up to our pages. We've got a newsletter that Shelley takes time that I know I couldn't. Well, put it this way, if I did, you're talking like you'd be getting your newsletter 3 months late every month. This is from Mady, I know, but this is the chance I've had to do it. So she takes time out and does that, as well as a billion other stuff also as well. So we'd really appreciate, when we say share, it's not like, oh, for the likes, it's the content. It blows us away, does it not, Shell?
Yeah, it always seems to be a theme. Whenever we do anything, there always does tend to be when there was going to be a theme anyway, because of it being this week. But it always tends to be, it brings out different parts of those conversations. And you might take something from it for yourself. You might take something from it and it will pop up in conversation next week, a couple of weeks later. Or you've shared it and someone actually then needs to see that information.
Correct.
It's not just this week, it's any weeks that we've done. That it's something that's, any information that you get is important to share. I mean, for this particular week, being like World Suicide Prevention Day, it's creating hope through action is what the day is actually called. That's the theme, and I suppose it's the same for anything really, that to have a little bit of knowledge, or to know where to find that knowledge,
exactly,
in hand, is something that's important for everyone. For things like mental health and for like suicide, if all I would ask is anyone to actually know the route for your local area, because it's all very well that it's, oh, everything got internet on the mobile phone now, that's fine. I could be walking the dog and not have my internet signal, but I've got a phone signal. You run out of data, anything like that. And if I was talking to someone, and I do say that because there is a high majority, every time you see it in the news, it's the dog walker's been out first thing in the morning, and it's but I as someone else, that it's, you know what you need to do. If it's your first aid, as in like physical first aid, you know, if someone falls over and looks like they're having a heart attack or whatever, you call 999. You should really know that kind of thing for your local area. For us in Bedfordshire, did you know that if you call 111, there's a particular option, I'm sure it's option 2, that you get through to the mental health team. So you don't call 9, unless it's an emergency, obviously. But if you've got someone that's safe with you, that's just having that point, you can call 111, the NHS number, if you don't know what 111 is, go through to the option 2, and the mental health team come out to you. Now, normally that could be like a police officer and a paramedic kind of thing, a mental health nurse, or they could talk to you on the phone. But things like everyone knows Samaritans. But can you remember that number off the top of your head? Which is 1116123. But they actually then got an email service as well, which is open 24 hours, but obviously you don't get a direct, it's not like an instant messenger kind of thing. So if you want to go into it like long, old school, I've got this problem, they will come back to you. But then there's also a text message service. If people can't talk, that you've got the text message service called Shout, and that is 24/7. They are all volunteers that man those text messages. So it's 85258. I can't remember the number. Because it's when you look at your number pad, they did it as the actual pattern.
Oh, right.
And you will get a text message back straight away. So you have got these things that have been developed and redeveloped to help you, because you might not want to talk, but so many people are easy to actually text. One other thing that I did put in on there, and I did touch on a little bit earlier, if you've got children and you're worried about what they're actually searching for, there is the link in there that's the Ripple Suicide Prevention. It's a charity that's been set up. A young woman lost her brother to suicide, and it was found as part of his inquest, because quite often they do go through inquests. Not always, but they do. They found that he was searching different things, and what they decided to do was put this technology that you can download onto your computer, that if anyone on that computer was to search for any particular words, particular words, it would then pop up, and it would then say, are you having problems? Read this instead, go to this particular helpline and things like that, to try and curb some of these ones that they are actually looking at. I mean, if what I was saying earlier about self-harm, there is a high popular culture of self-harm, and they're actually looking at it that there are more people self-harming because they're seeing things about self-harm. And now self-harm can be intermingled with suicide, but most of the time self-harm is you're trying to find a way to distract yourself from the problems that you've got. So it's almost like you decide to drink a bottle of wine because you don't want to think about that thing anymore. You're going to get drunk, your brain will go off. Or people that then get into different drug cycles, they get onto that because that takes them away from that pain. So self-harm is that kind of similar thing. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more that I'm not qualified to talk about. But from what I've learned, that it is that self-coping thing. And it's also then a cry for help sometimes. So the things that they go that little bit further because they want the help, but they don't know how to explain that they want the help. So they then get to go to hospital, or they get out of a situation. And there's all this kind of thing that's intermingled, which is why the more training that people have, and you can have something to do with suicide awareness that's one day, one afternoon, or even read up on something online or videos online that would take you a couple of hours, and it will give you that tiny bit of knowledge that helps change the perceptions of people, that helps change the stigma, changes the language, that then makes it more acceptable in how to explain things and how to talk about things. That hopefully, just like with the whole cancer thing, cancer was a taboo word. You didn't really talk about it. But because you're now talking about breasts, you're talking about smear tests, you're talking about your bowel habits, because that's become more acceptable, and the way you can talk about it, cancers are being picked up sooner. And hopefully, by saying the word suicide, it's a complete myth that by talking about it is actually going to
lead somebody to.
Yeah, you're not putting ideas into anyone's head. I mean, the statistics that they've brought out for this year, and they've brought it out for the Suicide Prevention Day for the world. So this is done by WHO, so the World Health Organization. It's estimated 703,000 people take their own life every year around the world. But for every suicide, there are likely about 20 other people that will make a suicide attempt. Now that's information that they've got for that this last year ish, because of the way that the statistics are. And also we're finding out more and more statistics, just as a side note, more and more statistics, because it's actually being reported better.
Yeah.
The language has changed, the reporting is better. You don't get the death by misadventure or the people that not wanting suicide on your death certificate, or even finding that information and actually having a proper inquest about it. It was never really reported, and reported enough that charities that are out there that are trying to plug these holes could actually have the relevant information that they needed to try and make steps in making sure this doesn't happen. So the whole statistic of children, they didn't want to add that onto a child, but we needed to add that onto a child to understand the information of what's happening. The men's thing and the women's thing, all of that, because of the way the situations are. If it's not being reported, then you don't have that information to be able to make a change. So this whole language and everything, even in the few years that I've been sort of, nothing officially really, it's all off my own back. It's all that it's a project. I keep going to say it's a passion. It's not. It's a stupid word for it. It's my thing that I champion. It's the ally. It's personal. It's personal. And I don't get paid for anything that I do, and it's just I have a brain that I want to learn. And this has just fallen. My life seems to have fallen down that part.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I do suffer with my own mental health. I do have a depression. One side of it being that it's my own health, as it was early on this afternoon. I have polycystic ovary syndrome, and I have an underactive thyroid. Both of those are to do with your metabolism, so your whole body slows down, which then means that you're more susceptible to suffer from depression. But then there's other things that then happen. So I've got both sides. So it does then seem weird that why would someone that suffers from depression actually want to go and learn about it more? And it's kind of, I've learned a lot about myself through it. And it's also, I don't want anyone to feel that way. If I can help someone not feel the way that I have felt, then yeah. And I think anyone that takes up this type of training has got some kind of compassion for that, and some kind of understanding. And there's kind of always a reason.
People just want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, the video, the thing that I was doing like this morning was from the Mental Health Foundation, and that was to do with mental health and suicide in the workplace. And it just happened to be as part of the conversation that we all then realised, because you're on a Zoom webinar, so you're not seeing faces, you then end up seeing names. And someone then said, hang on a minute, we are like predominantly female on this call. And people were then saying, yes, there was for that particular call, I think it was about 80% that were female. And I suppose it's a natural thing that the female would want to help someone, because you do, you're nurturing. Even if you haven't got children yourself, you're nurturing. That's, yeah. But it's, yeah. Don't want to bring everyone down.
I'm gonna stop this young lady now. I'm going to stop this lady now. No, it's all more than valuable, Shelley, and people, as I did, and I know many other people. When you're just like, you're just being you and just sharing stuff and that, and thinking like, I share stuff and nobody maybe. There are people that are taking note. There are people where you have made a difference. Certainly for me, I've learned an awful lot. Even up to yesterday, speaking to someone and we're talking about suicide and commit. I said, no, that is a wrong word. You do not say that. And yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned
and
a
there's
lot.
more that will be coming out sharing during this week. If you was to search for the World Suicide Prevention Day, all the charities have got their own take on that same theme, and there's a lot of information out there, whether it's to help yourself, whether it's to help you help someone, whether you want to do the training. And as I said earlier, the Ollie Foundation has been sitting down. They're doing a lot of work with schools now. It was originally like just universities and things. They're now going that little bit younger as well. And they've got a scheme set up for all workplaces to actually have a template, if you like, on how to deal with the situation for someone that's affected by suicide going into the school, or someone from the school that has taken their own life because of suicide. And it's a template to help the teachers, to help all the workers, to actually help the kids and work out what kind of language you use and things like that. So that's now coming out, and I'm sure that's either coming out Friday or Saturday. But there's other bits that's there, and anything I see, I will be sharing out.
Signposts. You'll find there is an awful lot of that, and the reason we say share it is because it may not be that message for you, but I can guarantee you might not want it now. There's going to be a time when they talked about that, and that's what we do, and that's what
I know this is part of what I do, and I've had the training, but if I could show you that's one page on my phone that's all apps or local help. Things like the Ollie Foundation, things like Mind, the Hub of Hope. For anyone that's watching this that's not part of this local area, but the Hub of Hope is an app and a website. The details is in the description. That will give you all, not just mental health help, but it's anything that's affecting your mental health. So debt advice, housing advice, domestic abuse, everything like that. But I know that if I come across someone that needs help, I've got a page of apps that we can write, okay, sit down with me and we can talk. And there's also one that's just being developed now that's just for Luton, just for our area, that for help charities and things, that's on there as well. So when that's gone fully live, I'll share that as well. But for anyone out there, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on replay, you know where we are at Simply Deez Events. You've got my Instagram that's going through on there. You've got the helplines there. Don't ever be on your own. So whether it's yourself or whether it's someone that you need help with, contact someone?
Wowza. Let's say wowza. As you can see, guys, I still have got my seatbelt on because I said I have no intention of taking it off. I need to get some Zeds. Wow. What we've got things coming up, but shall I tell you what, if you want to know, I suggest you follow us. We're not going to go through it. We're not going to rehash stuff that you can find out by doing what you need to do. You know, we're on all the social media platforms. You know how to get hold of us. Yeah, if you can imagine, and this is real talk, and if you watch the show from the beginning and you're now at the end, Shelley's produced and been kind of in off and on. I've kind of been in it, and it is kind of like you've been in the boxing ring, and literally, not in a bad way, but literally it's kind of like you've been on the ropes, and it's kind of like I now need to just try and bring myself down. We need to bring us, because you're kind of like there, and it does take a while. You know, we're keeping it real. It does take a while to like things down. We will, I'm sure, be in touch sometime tomorrow, because Shelley's on a mission tomorrow, aren't you? Tomorrow evening, on behalf of Simply Deez, and I will be doing something on Thursday on behalf of Simply Deez. So we are truly grateful for everyone that's taken time out to watch the show. Certainly to all of our guests for being on the show. Yeah, we're out of here. It's 10:30.
And just on a completely different tangent, if you've been watching us, you've not been watching the football. Do you want to guess how much? The ladies, our ladies won. Yeah, yep. The England ladies won 10-0.
No way.
10-0. That brought everyone up.
I think there's people still watching, Shell.
I know.
And we've still got people. What's going on?
I think they're falling asleep with the phone like this.
Is there anybody still there?
Oh no, Kem's still here.
Oh, Kem. You, if you remember rightly, young lady, we're waiting for you, Simply Together show on a Tuesday. You are our host. We are waiting for you, a co-host. We are waiting for you to give us the green when you're ready. Trish, they're all coming out now.
She's got a late night. It's a school night, Trish.
Is she still making her sandwiches? Guys, what did you think of the show? What did you think of the show? Yeah, you know, give us some comments. Let us know. You know, I've been doing this for since 2018. Shall we kind of like give up? Shall we like stop doing the shows? You guys might say yes. The show will be going on the road. I don't know how to tell Shelley, but yeah. I said from the very first show that I did, I wanted to take it on the road, do live shows, not necessarily just in Luton, but live shows. And yeah, before I disappear, I need to say a massive thank you. So many people. But on Saturday, I can't remember where I went, but Saturday I went to Liverpool, and I went to the Slavery Museum, which is, I've been there before. There's a whole program to talk about that. But anyway, lastminute.com, I'm like, how can I go to Liverpool and not let our very good friend Anna Rothery know that I was going to be in Liverpool? I'm like, 25 miles. I'm like, Anna, just letting you know, I'm about 25 miles away. I'm going to be in Liverpool. And that young lady, very busy, made time. She made time. She goes, let me know when you're there. I'm like, I'm here. I'll be 20 minutes. Hour and a half. She had loads on, absolutely loads on. So I just want to say massive thank you to Anna. Anna said, Simply Deez crew, that invitation to Liverpool is still there for us. So, yeah. Good night, Cam, Trish, and whoever else is watching. Thank you once again to all of the absolutely incredible Trish, you're so funny. You'll be yawning. Yawning. I'll still be in with the Zeds, honestly. I don't know how I'm going to get through tomorrow. But yeah, we are out of here. Shell, as always, Captain at the helm. Thank you so much. Absolutely, yeah, blown away. Absolutely blown away. Thank you all, and we'll see you Tuesday, 4th of August. Hopefully, we'll hear from Leanne how she got on.
Yep.
At the remember, she's doing the marathon, guys. We'll be sharing her link. Let's get some monies up on that. Obviously, Sophie Gresswell, we will be at her event next Thursday. Oh, I can't remember all these things. That's why you need to follow us, and then you will know all of this information. Sunday, don't forget, Sunday, hosting amazing book launch for the lovely Veronica EBanks, one of the Simply Deez events crew. And that will be on Sunday, the 11th of September, 7 o'clock at the Little Red Creative Studios. So I'm sure there's loads more. Follow us, and all that information, because on Saturday, what's happening Saturday, Shell? It is a national day of...
Yes, it's the World Suicide Prevention Day. And it's
it.
creating hope through action.
There you go. So if you didn't get any of that, don't worry, because you're going to be bombarded this week. Lots of information, and your job is to share. Read it, share it. If you don't even want to read it because you're just that way inclined, please share it, because I guarantee there's going to be somebody that you know will thank you for doing so. Okay, we're out of here. See you later, guys. Shell?
Good night.
Yeah. Tomorrow. See you later, guys.